In a sunlit forest glade, a gigantic armored bear stands tall, poised to attack. A frightened merchant protects a woman, yelling at the creature to stay back. From the trees, a man in a suit, utterly stunned, watches the scene unfold. He yearns to intervene, but knows his average self is no match for the beast. The bear remains oblivious to his presence. This is his moment to flee. A wave of self-hatred crashes over him as he grapples with his cowardice. His thoughts drift back to when he admired true heroes like firefighters. As a child, he envisioned himself as a hero, saving others from danger. Yet, somewhere along the path to adulthood, he abandoned that aspiration. His memory shifts to a disorienting void where he floated, lost and bewildered. He remembers being on the train home from work when everything went dark. Out of nowhere, a strange, glowing digital window appeared right before him. It announced he would be summoned to another realm and needed to select a role. Worn out and jaded, he found the grand choices to be nothing but a nuisance. The fate of a hero felt like an overwhelming burden he couldn't bear. He believed he lacked the wisdom of a sage, blaming his soul-crushing job. Becoming a demon lord seemed like a guaranteed path to failure. Disliking every option, he pondered if he could simply opt out of choosing. He watched anxiously as the system appeared to respond to his silent wish. An unexpected hidden option was activated, granting him a unique new power. Before he could object, the transfer to the new world commenced in an instant. He awoke to sunlight streaming through the leaves of a lush forest. Disoriented, he pushed himself up from the soft ground, squinting at the brightness. In a thick, unfamiliar forest, he questioned what on earth had transpired. The rustling leaves and earthy scent felt too vivid to be a mere dream. The calls of unfamiliar birds overhead only heightened his confusion and anxiety. The terrifying realization hit him. He was truly in another world. A frantic search through his pockets revealed that all traces of his old life were gone. As he pondered his next move, a translucent blue screen suddenly appeared. It was a status window reminiscent of a video game, showcasing his stats. He was taken aback by his stats, particularly his astonishingly high MP. A helpful pop-up clarified that his MP was 10 times that of an average mage. The game-like interface began to thrill him, replacing his fear with intrigue. He speculated about his full assist skill, guessing it served as a guide. The system proposed to install his skills, enabling him to use them at will. With a confident grin, he eagerly accepted the offer to install his new powers. A surge of knowledge and strength flooded his mind as the skills were integrated. A pleasant chime and a notification confirmed that the installation was complete. Feeling a rush of new information, he decided to put it to the test. He chose to test his item box skill by placing his hand against a tree. He activated the skill to store, and a brilliant magic circle ignited. The entire tree disintegrated into particles of light, disappearing instantly. He gaped in disbelief at the vacant spot where the massive tree had stood. A new window confirmed that the tree was now safely stored in his item box. He couldn't help but smile, realizing just how incredibly useful this skill would be. Next, he contemplated the dismantle skill designed for processing materials and monster parts. He wondered if it could be applied to the wood and decided to give it a shot. A chime rang out as the single log was swiftly converted into 5 units of material. His excitement surged as he focused on his most fascinating skill, creation. This skill enabled him to use materials to craft new items with unique effects. Excited to test its capabilities, he promptly set out to forge a hinoki staff. He extracted the materials from his item box, a magical circle swirling in his palm. The basic wooden staff he fashioned boasted remarkable durability and resistance to fire. A delightful chime echoed, indicating an upgrade to his crafting skill. His crafting ability had gained experience and leveled up, unlocking fresh recipes. He understood that the more he crafted, the more powerful his skill would grow. Yet, the constant stream of pop-up notifications became somewhat bothersome. He wished for a more efficient way to handle all the data cluttering his screen. As if responding to his thoughts, the system shifted to a new visual mode. The physical windows before him flickered and vanished completely from sight. He closed his eyes, a deep sense of clarity and control washing over him. Now he could perceive and interact with all the menus solely in his mind. He found himself in a virtual realm, able to manipulate everything with a mere thought. Satisfied with the new recipes, he decided to craft another item immediately. In a burst of light, he fashioned a flawless, sharp wooden axe. Its appraisal showed a cutting edge rivaling metal, along with impressive effects. He grasped its attributes but had never wielded a weapon in his life. Yet, an instinct kicked in, guiding him on what to do next. His peak dexterity skill directed his body in a powerful, expert swing. The wooden axe blade soared through the air, aimed straight at a large boulder. With a thunderous crack, the unbelievable occurred. The wooden axe cleaved the stone. He stared in astonishment at the incredible feat he had just achieved. Gazing at the shattered rock, he noted how odd it was for wood to slice through stone. Though many skills remained a mystery, he was beginning to see their potential. With these remarkable abilities, he felt assured he could thrive in this new world. He resolved that his initial goal would be to enhance his crafting skill. Hours passed as he diligently worked under the bright sun, refining his newfound powers. Finally, he took a break, wiping a bead of sweat from his brow. He stood in a vast clearing of his own making, pleased with his achievements. Through his efforts, he had come to grasp 3 essential rules about his skill. New creations granted experience for level-ups, but repeating the same item yielded nothing. He had crafted 8 distinct wooden items, each possessing its own unique effect. He was amazed that even a simple wooden chair had an incredible stun immunity effect. Noticing the sun setting, he realized he needed to find civilization before nightfall. He set off at a steady pace, navigating through the thickening twilight woods. Despite the long hours of labor and travel, he felt no weariness. He attributed this to his transferred person skill, which had reached its maximum rank. He also observed that his senses, especially his hearing, had become extraordinarily acute. Suddenly, a faint noise pierced the forest, grabbing his attention. He halted, trying to discern the sound that had just reached his ears. Cupping a hand to his ear, he concentrated on the sound, a distant, terrified scream. Recognizing it as a man's scream, he dashed toward the source of the distress. The sky was adorned with the fading hues of dusk as he pressed on. A sense of urgency drove him through the deepening shadows of the woods. He burst through the trees into a clearing, confronted by a monstrous sight. It was the same scene he had encountered upon his arrival, the armored bear. He knew that if the creature, which seemed eager for a fight, attacked, he would be doomed. The merchant stood firm, wielding a small knife against the towering beast. The bear remained fixated on its current target, giving Ku a chance to escape. Yet, the sight of the merchant's terrified expression made him hesitate to flee. Ku attempts to rationalize his fear, believing that every life holds value. He grapples with the thought of whether leaving the vulnerable behind is truly right. A memory surfaces of his childhood, watching heroes on television. He recalls admiring firefighters who risk everything to save others. As a young boy, he yearned to be a hero just like them. He winces, realizing that his urge to run contradicts his childhood aspirations. He understands that if he abandons them, those lives will be lost. He must act. Though he had given up on heroism, he now possesses valuable skills. With fierce determination, he makes his choice. He calls forth his reliable Hinoki wood axe, gripping it firmly. With a thunderous shout, he bursts from the bushes and charges into view. Soaring through the air, he activates his ultimate dexterity skill. The armored bear looks up, its fury shifting to sheer disbelief. Crumb the merchant watches in shock, his jaw dropped at the sudden turn. The wooden axe cleaves through the bear's armored neck, decapitating it. Crumb stands in stunned silence, struggling to process what just happened. The severed head of the monster thuds to the ground with a sickening sound. He explains that heroism isn't a requirement to do what's right. He extends a hand, asking if the man is okay, wanting to be a helper. Overwhelmed with gratitude, the merchant introduces himself as Chrome. Cow shares his name, pondering how much truth to disclose. He hopes to reach the next town without raising any suspicions. Holding up proof of his kill, he claims to be merely a woodworker. Crumb stares back, his expression one of utter disbelief. He tells Ku that he doesn't resemble any craftsman he's ever encountered. The powerful axe that felled the beast in one blow was crafted by Cremassive Cow. Kafane, in ignorance, asks just how strong the armored bear was. The merchant is astonished that Ku doesn't know the creature's fearsome reputation. He explains it's an A-rank monster capable of annihilating an entire village. It's said to be as tough as steel, deflecting ordinary attacks. He realizes with a nervous grin that he has achieved something remarkable. Chrome gratefully acknowledges Ku's strength, thankful to be alive. As night approaches, Chrome invites Koto to his home in the nearby town. Ko readily accepts the kind offer, following the merchant. He inquires about the cargo left behind in the abandoned wagon. Chrome laments that his driver and horses fled, leaving his goods behind. An idea sparks in Ku's mind, presenting a chance to be of assistance. He offers to transport the goods using his unique item box skill. Chrome is amazed, but wonders if the skill's capacity is sufficient. Coot reassures him with a bright smile, claiming his capacity knows no bounds. He places his hand on the wagon, activating the skill to store it. The massive cart disintegrates into particles of light, disappearing entirely. Chrome stares in awe at the vacant space where his wagon once stood. The woman hiding behind Chrome is equally astonished by the impossible feat. Chrome-asked Ku, unable to hide his astonishment, asks who he really is. Ku awkwardly insists once more that he is just an ordinary woodworker. He explains his lack of knowledge by saying he was training in the mountains. They walk toward Okan, gathering information about this unfamiliar world. During their stroll, Ku learns two crucial new facts about this realm. He discovers that skills can be innate, talent-based, or rare and unique. He discovers that the locals have no concept of leveling up. He realizes his abilities are remarkable, and he could become the most powerful. Ko rubs his chin, pondering the vast potential of his skills. He questions Chrome about traveling such a perilous road without any guards. Chrome reveals that his hired mercenaries from the guild fled. Ku thinks it's disgraceful for mercenaries to abandon their client. Chrome mentions he typically hires top-tier adventurers, but they were all occupied. Kao grows increasingly suspicious of the seemingly reckless mercenary guild. Chrome gestures ahead, announcing that the town of Okan is in sight. The vast city of Okan comes into view, its lights shimmering beneath the stars. Ku buzzes with excitement, wondering if he might encounter elves or beastmen. As they near the main gate, they spot a group of adventurers arguing with the guards. An adventurer shouts in panic, claiming an armored bear has appeared. He spins a tall tale about their brave fight, only to be overpowered. He fabricates a story saying that Chrome was slain by the beast in the chaos. The leader of the adventurers feigns sorrow, wishing he had been strong enough to save him. Another party member hangs his head, pretending to grieve. Who realizes they are lying to mask their own cowardice. A city guard suddenly notices the approaching merchant, eyes wide in surprise. The guard calls out Chrome's name, astonished, catching the mercenaries' attention. Chrome asserts that he is indeed alive, contrary to their claims. He clarifies that it was Kao who came to his aid. Kao feels the weight of everyone's gaze as he stands in the spotlight. He decides to present irrefutable proof to unveil their deceit. He conjures the bear's head, cheerfully introducing himself as the woodworker who took it down. The crowd gasps, recoiling in horror at the gruesome trophy. A guard whispers about the ridiculousness of a woodworker achieving such a feat. The head guard confronts the mercenaries, demanding an explanation for their falsehood. The mercenary leader stutters nervously, sweating as his world crumbles. Another adventurer stumbles over his words, unable to come up with a believable excuse. The leader groans in frustration, realizing he's been caught red-handed. Chrome points an accusing finger, stating they didn't fight, but deserted him. The head guard now understands that the mercenaries were lying. He declares that abandoning a quest is a crime and prepares to take them into custody. The guard commands the disgraced group to surrender and extend their hands. The mercenary leader lets out a roar of pure fury. He blames Kao for his situation and lunges, screaming for him to perish. Kukuli observes that the adventurer is being incredibly selfish. A magic circle glows as Kao summons an item from his inventory. He effortlessly blocks the steel sword using a simple wooden chair. Doc yells at him, ordering him not to interfere. Kao stands firm, easily deflecting the sword with the unassuming furniture. With determination, he lifts the chair high above his head. He slams the chair down hard onto the adventurer's scum. Dox cries out in agony as the impact lands with a solid thwack. He collapses, knocked out by the enchanted chair's might. Ku and Crumb stand over the fallen adventurer, surrounded by a stunned crowd. The onlookers erupt in cheers, praising Ku for defeating the arrogant B-rank mercenary. The crowd joyfully lifts Ku into the air, celebrating his triumph over Scumdox. Ku is tossed into the air repeatedly by his new adoring fans. A carriage pulled by horses navigates the streets of Okan. Cowell contemplates that the knight has already perished during his questioning by the guards. The city guard informs Ko that issues with the mercenary guild are on the rise. Inside the carriage, Chrome gently encourages a weary cow to rest. Ku beams, relieved he won't need to search for an inn. Chrome joyfully announces their arrival at the destination. His mouth agape in disbelief, he had a faint suspicion of this. Before them looms a grand, lavish mansion showcasing Chrome's immense wealth. Inside, a long line of butlers and maids bow, welcoming their master back. Chrome warmly invites the astonished cow into his splendid home. Ku enjoys an extravagant feast, featuring a roasted oak and hellbird. He is then escorted to a guest room that rivals a luxury hotel suite. Sated and happy, Ku collapses onto a chaise lounge, reluctant to return to his previous life. He reflects that without a partner or family, only corporate monotony awaits him in Japan. He realizes this new realm is far more enticing. Gazing at the mansion, he thinks that a life of travel could be enjoyable. He decides his first mission tomorrow will be to find a home. The next morning starts with Ku gasping in astonishment. He is stunned to discover that Chrome has already booked him a month at an inn. Chrome explains that starting anew alone after isolation would be challenging. He suggests Ku acclimate to the city at an inn operated by his merchant guild. He then discloses that he leads the influential Scarlet Chamber of Commerce. He had been traveling incognito, but now plans to hand over leadership to his son. Chrome sees his fateful encounter with Ku as a divine severance package. He humbly claims his abilities are nothing extraordinary and not solely due to his own efforts. Chrome then shares a single piece of wisdom as an elder. He clarifies that there's a significant gap between possessing a skill and utilizing it effectively. Kuri labels the cowardly mercenaries, realizing many possess skills they can't wield properly. Chrome commends Ku for not just having skills, but for using them to save his life. Hao is left speechless by the merchant's profound insights. He smiles gratefully, thanking Chrome and pledging to remember his counsel. Chrome suggests that if Kyle wishes to travel, he should sign up with the Adventurers Guild. He adds that with Kao's power, he'll quickly rise in rank, and the card will serve as his ID. Ko agrees, recalling he had heard about the guild from a seasoned adventurer. He inquires about armor, worried that a weak appearance might lead to disdain. Chrome confirms this, also advising him to steer clear of overly formal language. With their discussion concluded, Chrome bids him farewell for the time being. Alone, Ku ponders where he can acquire armor for his debut. An idea strikes him as he realizes he can craft it himself. A blank panel indicates the transition as he begins the crafting process. He thinks that with his abilities, all he requires are the right materials. A system prompt inquires if he wishes to equip. He confidently affirms. A brilliant light surrounds him as the new armor forms around his body. The fierce visage of the armored bear Pauldron is displayed as he declares it's perfect. Ku strikes a pose in his new armored bear gear, ready for his adventurer debut. The heavy wooden doors of the Adventurers Guild creak open. The guild hall buzzes with activity, a lively place filled with adventurers of all sorts. A group of adventurers whispers, recognizing his armor as crafted from an armored bear. They speculate he must be the Bear Slayer and wonder if he's A or S rank. Cal disregards them, moving to the counter to initiate the registration process. He catches the receptionist's eye, pretending to be a bit anxious. A cheerful receptionist with golden locks turns to him, beaming. She greets him warmly, introducing herself as Milia from the Oaken branch. She admires his stylish outfit and inquires how she can assist. Recalling Chrome's suggestion, he politely requests to register as an adventurer. Milia's expression shifts to one of shock as she exclaims, "Register!" She apologizes, saying she thought he was a seasoned adventurer from abroad. Ku grins sheepishly, assuring her he's just a total beginner. Milia hands him an application, explaining a practical exam follows. Ku grumbles, realizing that even in a new world, paperwork is a drag. He completes the form with flair, announcing it's finished. Milia glances at the form, puzzled by the empty special appeal section. She accepts the form and asks if he's prepared for the practical exam. He inquires about the specifics of the practical exam. Milia explains it's a simulated battle against one of the guild's trainers. She cautions him that today's instructor is a former A rank, claiming to be stronger than a bear. They head down the stairs into a spacious underground training facility. He wonders why a throng of adventurers is trailing behind them. The crowd buzzes with excitement, wagering on whether the instructor or the Bear Slayer will win. Milia catches Ku's attention, ready to clarify the exam rules. She asserts with conviction that winning the fight isn't necessary. As long as he demonstrates his basic abilities, losing is acceptable. Ku summons his weapon, determined not to hold back. He conjures a gigantic wooden mallet, declaring he'll give it his all. The mallet weighs over 100 kilograms, but his S+ agility makes it feel light. He firmly plants his foot, gearing up to swing. He swings the enormous mallet in a powerful practice arc. The swing generates a strong gust, pushing back the spectators. The crowd murmurs in awe, convinced today's instructor is in trouble. A rugged man approaches, asking if Ku is the famed bear slayer. The instructor calmly retrieves and unfolds a pair of glasses. He tells the surprisingly youthful Ku that there's always someone stronger. Ku sizes him up, realizing the veteran is a serious threat. Amelia stands between them, asking if they're both set for the test. She raises her arm enthusiastically, signaling the start of the exam. The two fighters face off, Ku pondering how his opponent will act. The instructor tells Ku to make the first move since it's a test. Ku closes his eyes, calmly accepting the fight's terms. He lunges forward, ready to take the man up on his challenge. He brings the massive mallet down, but the instructor deflects it with his broadsword. The instructor dodges a follow-up swing that splinters nearby wooden crates. He leaps back, impressed by the sheer force of Ku's attack. He notes Ku dodged his initial strike effortlessly, unlikely to be hit by a standard swing. The instructor resumes his assault with a sweeping horizontal slash. He thinks Ku's attacks are too wide, and the heavy mallet will hinder dodging. A close-up reveals the instructor's eyes widening in surprise. Ku hurls his massive mallet straight at his opponent. The instructor is taken aback as Ku zips past him at breakneck speed. The thrown mallet disappears into thin air mid-flight. Ku reappears, blocking the instructor's sword with a newly summoned shield. Ku's wooden shield suddenly appears, halting the instructor's sword in its tracks. He gazes in shock, his fierce strike completely thwarted. Gasps ripple through the crowd, including Melia at the astonishing defense. That's it. Milius's voice cuts through, officially concluding the lopsided match. She lifts Ku's arm triumphantly, announcing his victory to everyone. The gathered adventurers are left speechless by the rookie's display. The stillness shatters as the crowd bursts into a thunderous cheer. The instructor concedes defeat, lauding Ku's impressive abilities. Kao expresses gratitude, and the veteran reassures him he's unscathed. The instructor admires Ku's clever and strategic use of his item box. He offers his hand, acknowledging he's gained new insights from their duel. Who accepts the handshake? A firm grip, a sign of mutual respect. The instructor gives Kao a pat on the back, expressing high hopes for him. Back at the counter, Melia hands Ku his official Adventurers Guild card. She excitedly praises his win over the instructor, calling him truly formidable. Ku modestly downplays the accolades, attributing it all to his skills. Melia offers to go over the guild's rules and regulations from a pamphlet. She outlines the 7 adventure ranks from F to S for the newcomer. She cautions him that actions like betrayal will lead to severe consequences. To accept a quest, one must present the request form at the counter. Ko reflects that the entire system feels strikingly similar to a video game. Melia adds that achieving B rank comes with benefits like a severance package. She finishes her explanation with a bow, thanking him for his attention. Ko decides that aiming for a rank up is a solid goal for now. Melia enthusiastically encourages him to embark on his first quest immediately. Ku is taken aback by her eagerness to send him out so quickly. He inquires about the quest, and she cheerfully explains it involves Naos grass. She shows him the request, highlighting the reward of 400 comps per stock. Ku quickly calculates that the total reward amounts to a generous 20,000 comsa. Melia leans closer, stating that the next part of her explanation is crucial. She clarifies that a high-ranking adventurer always accompanies a rookie on their first quest. Who wonders if it will truly be that simple to find someone to assist? Melia gives a confident thumbs up, boasting a perfect success rate, except for failures. Ku agrees to her plan, and she assures him she'll handle everything. She cheerfully rushes off to find him a fitting partner for the task. Ku lets out a sigh, feeling relieved to finally step into the role of a true adventurer. He thinks of Crumb, who generously invested 80,000 comms in him. Melia returns, announcing she has found someone to join him. Kao turns and is instantly captivated by the woman next to Melia. He first notices her long, flowing hair, reminiscent of a stunning sunset. Then he sees her crimson eyes sparkling like precious gems. Finally, he spots the 2 prominent dark horns identifying her as Dragonkin. Melia proudly gestures, introducing her as an A-rank adventurer. She cheerfully announces the woman's full name, Iris Note Fafnir. Iris stands with her arms crossed, her expression cool and assessing. She recognizes him as the Bear Slayer and tells him to just call her Iris. Kao, remembering to be courteous, bows deeply and formally introduces himself. Iris looks taken aback by his overly formal and respectful introduction. He immediately cringes, realizing his old corporate habits have resurfaced. He stands awkwardly as they prepare to set off on their first quest together. Iris tells him to chill. No need for such formalities between quests. Co-flustered agrees, vows to keep things more casual from now on. Milier mentions that coups are quirky, and he and Iris should get along. Virus ponders this and agrees she's a fitting partner for the task. Once outside, Iris inquires what Ku thinks their initial move should be. Ko, with a gamer's mindset, decides gathering intel is priority number one. He admits he knows nothing about Neos grass, not even how it looks. He states he needs a map and monster details, which Iris confirms is wise. She commends his foresight, noting most newbies would rush off unprepared. She informs him that everything he requires is in a small booklet Milia created, who is astonished to discover the booklet includes maps, sketches, and material locations. He comments that it resembles a strategy guide, and Iris agrees Milia crafted it. Milia winks from afar, mentioning she hails from the capital's headquarters. Iris adds that Milia is a favorite of the branch manager, so befriending her is smart, who is taken aback to find out he's already considered one of Milius's favorites. Iris asks if he needs anything else before they set off. Kao realizes he must gather supplies since he only has his weapon. Iris suggests they visit the street where other adventurers often gather. They stroll through the lively market street, brimming with various shops. They acquire an assortment of basic gear, rope, a torch, flint, and a water skin. Ku stashes all the new gear in his item box while Iris observes. He casually mentions its capacity is limitless, leaving her utterly stunned. Iris explains that a typical item box is seen as a dud skill due to its limited size. She notes there are far superior magical tools for storage. She demonstrates by pulling out her enormous spear from a small pouch on her hip. She concludes that Ku's item box is an extraordinary cheat-level ability. With their preparations finalized, they finally set off for the Cello Forest. They commence their search for the medicinal herb, nausea grass. Ko quickly spots a plant that matches the description in his guidebook. He confirms this is the plant they need to collect. Iris cautions him to be careful. The herb's roots are strong and its leaves slippery. Kao realizes that properly uprooting it will require a trowel. Suddenly, a brilliant idea hits him and he tells her to hold on. Iris asks what's up as he crouches next to the plant. A glowing magic circle surrounds his hand as he activates his skill. Iris is left speechless and bewildered by his odd and sudden action. Ku stands up holding a perfectly harvested Neos grass, much to her astonishment. She asks what he just did, and he explains it was a clever use of his item box. He stored the buried plant directly, making the tedious gathering a breeze. Iris reflects that she never considered such a use for a so-called dud skill. Ku spots another patch of herbs nearby, this one looking a bit different. He notices the leaves of this particular plant have unique red spots. Iris identifies it as Nirvana grass, a rarer variant they must avoid. She sighs, remarking that this quest is tougher than it initially seemed. She laments that gathering 50 stalks will be a painstaking, time-consuming endeavor. Koja grins confidently, stating he'll just use this skill to speed things up. His eyes blaze with power as he activates the god's eye of the artisan. The forest around him shimmers with particles of golden light. He explains to a bewildered Iris that the skill highlights the designated item for him. He declares that now that he's found one specimen, the rest will be easy. The item box reveals 50 stalks of Nails grass collected in just an hour. Iris can't believe how swiftly they wrapped up the quest. Kao attributes their success to his skills. Melia will be stunned. With the quest complete, who dares to ask Iris something personal? He faces Iris, wondering if he might ask her a personal question. He requests her to share about her people. The dragon can race. Iris shares that they descend from ancient dragons who once ruled. She mentions their long lifespans, which Ku finds quite enviable. His casual comment leaves Iris utterly stunned and speechless. She confesses it's the first time someone has said that to her. Most humans fear dragons, she explains, often viewing them as monsters. Realizing his insensitivity, he scratches his head and apologizes. She waves off his apology, assuring him it's completely fine. A brief, slightly awkward silence settles between them. She pauses on the path, turning to comment on his choice of words. With a gentle smile, she admits his words made her very happy. Ku returns her smile, a new understanding blossoming between them. They reach the Adventurers Guild building in Okan. A surprised Melia asks if they've already completed the gathering quest. Cow presents the 50 stalks while Melia prepares to examine them. Melia verifies they are all perfect and inquires about their method. Cow explains his innovative use of the item box for gathering. Melia decides this new technique needs to be reported to the guild. She joyfully hands Ku the 20,000 comms reward for the quest. Iris praises the promising rookie, but Cow humbly calls it luck. He expresses gratitude to Iris, crediting her for his successful first quest. Ku now finds himself at the end of the Chroma range, under the tranquil moon. He realizes it's a high-class inn, not a place for adventurers. Feeling out of place in his armor, he peeks through a doorway. In an instant, he decides to change into something more fitting. Now dressed in his business suit, he feels less embarrassed. Even in his suit, the luxury still overwhelms him a bit. He marvels at how his suite is far larger than his old Japanese apartment. He craves dinner, but worries the inn's restaurant might be too fancy. He stumbles upon an Okan gourmet guide, a perfect fix for his dilemma. The guide's top recommendation, the oak and hellbird roast, sounds fantastic. He reflects that he could never enjoy wine after work at his old job. He cheers for his new life, vowing to work hard on quests tomorrow. The following day, he ventures into the Fadden Mountains for another quest. His mission is to subdue 5 E-rank monsters known as Lonely Wolves. The pay is decent, 20,000 comms plus 5,000 for each pelt returned. After an hour of searching, he still hasn't spotted any targets. Instead, he discovers 3 useful materials, Naos, Jokashi, and Arui mushrooms. With his creation skill, he can craft healing and antidote potions. He decides to brew the potions, confirming he'll use a water skin. A magic circle surrounds the water skin as his creation skill activates. He holds the completed healing potion, noting its impressive S+ rank effects. He takes a sip and finds the potion has a delightful minty flavor. The mint taste gives him a headache, reminding him of his old corporate life. The antidote potion boasts incredible effects and is apparently quite tasty. Relying on his judgment, he cautiously takes a sip of the potion. To his surprise, it tastes exquisite, reminiscent of premium juice. A sudden rustle from the nearby bushes catches him off guard. He jerks his head around, a bead of sweat forming on his forehead. From the shadows, a massive black wolf emerges from the trees. Another wolf appears, its lips drawn back in a threatening snarl. Recognizing the solitary wolf, he readies his wooden sword. It's inconvenient that the target has come right to him. A magic circle materializes as he gears up to confront the beast. He firmly grips his gleaming wooden sword, poised for battle. The wolf leaps, charging directly at Ku. The wolf snaps its powerful jaws, seeking a lethal strike. He yells, activating his formidable pinnacle of dexterity combat skill. With sharpened senses, he effortlessly evades the wolf's attack. The wolf flies past him, its fierce strike completely missing. His wooden sword cleanly severs the wolf's neck. In one smooth motion, he cleaves the creature in half. The wolf's 2 halves collapse onto the forest floor. He comments on the blade's remarkable sharpness, surpassing metal. He approaches the carcass, planning to harvest the valuable pelt. A smile crosses his face as he thinks of the bonus for the pelt. With just 4 more to go, he feels optimistic about the quest. A sudden rustling from the trees puts him on high alert. He spots a large pack, puzzled by the presence of solitary wolves. The entire pack unleashes a thunderous, menacing howl together. With a fierce battle cry, he leaps to confront the oncoming pack. He effortlessly dispatches the first wolf that lunges at him. He levels up, gaining hit points and magic points while unlocking a new skill. He watches a fallen wolf dissolve, grasping his new collection skill. Unfazed, he feels a wolf's bite on his arm. The wolf disintegrates into light particles the moment it attacks. He realizes this skill spares him the hassle of gathering monster remains. With a confident grin, he readies himself to continue the assault. He swings his sword in a powerful arc, eager to take down more wolves. His sweeping strikes send several wolves flying through the air. More wolves appear, and he wonders if they're fresh reinforcements. He questions the situation, joking about a clearance sale on wolves. He ponders just how many of these wolves he must battle. The last wolf from the massive pack charges at him. With determination, he prepares to finish off the final one. Shouting, "Last one," he brings his sword down on the final wolf. He exhales in relief as the last wolf disappears. His item box displays 2,031 wolf corpses, a truly astonishing figure. He decides to report this clearly unusual situation to the guild. With the battle concluded, he strolls along the quiet forest path. Hearing another growl, he turns in frustration, shouting, "Again!" A female solitary wolf appears, one that consumes its mate post-pregnancy. He experiences a sudden horrified realization about the wolves. Now he understands why the males fled, but he won't take the blame. The female wolf, uninterested in him, simply turns and walks away. A notification pops up, catching Ku off guard. He's hit level 16, a remarkable leap in just a single day. He ponders whether future levels will unlock even greater abilities. With this new strength, excitement begins to swell within him. Spotting a peaceful spot, he opts to take a break and eat. As he strolls, an unsettling feeling creeps over him from the woods. He stumbles upon two young adventurers, utterly spent and lying down. With a warm smile, he approaches them, asking if they're okay. They jump at his sudden presence, recoiling in surprise. The male adventurer's eyes widen as he recognizes Ku's armor. He points, inquiring if Ku is the famed bear slayer. The young woman looks up at Ku, asking what transpired. She urgently warns him to leave the mountain. It's too perilous. The man, trembling, insists that what they faced wasn't just an armored bear. He describes a gigantic, swift spider monster that was impossible to combat. The woman adds that black spiders are fearsome creatures from the depths. He realizes they were inexperienced adventurers on a simple gathering quest. They had the misfortune of crossing paths with a monster far too powerful. The woman shares that an A-ranked dragonkin adventurer came to their aid. Ku is taken aback when she reveals the adventurer's name, Iris. He recalls his companion, his face suddenly filled with dread. The black spider's threat level is A+, even more terrifying than the armored bear. The woman cries, explaining that Iris was injured while protecting them. Ku's expression hardens as he absorbs the grim news. She clings to hope, saying a dragonkin's body is resilient and she might pull through. Ku's demeanor shifts to serious as he inquires about the spider's location. The man points nervously, warning him against going there. Ku declares he's going to save Iris and instructs them to head down. The young man protests, calling the plan reckless and far too risky. The woman, seeing his determination, agrees to seek help from the guild. Just as he turns to leave, she calls out for him to wait. She listens closely, saying the spirits are warning him against going. Ku is puzzled, questioning the nature of spirits in this realm. She explains her spirit guidance skill allows her to hear these unseen entities. The man confirms her skill has saved them multiple times. He concedes, but pleads with Ku to promise he won't act recklessly. Ku gives them a small, confident smile in response. He turns and dashes off, calling for Iris to wait. He races through the forest, forcing his way through the thick underbrush. He pushes his body to the limit, sprinting as fast as he can. He activates his armor's auditory enhancement, straining to catch any sounds. He yells her name, hoping she's still alive. Thoughts of Iris flood his mind, fearing he might be too late. He shakes off the doubt, reminding himself of her strength. He continues his frantic run, determination etched on his face. He realizes he's not as composed as he believed, especially with Iris in peril. Suddenly, his enhanced hearing picks up a faint sound in the distance. He skids to a stop, recognizing it as a voice. He decides he must check out the sound right away. He alters his course and sprints toward the source of the voice. As he approaches, the scene before him leaves him stunned. He dashes through a path of utter ruin, littered with slain beasts. It dawns on him that the black spider is behind this devastation. He presses on through the wrecked terrain, his heart racing. Horror grips him as he takes in the sight ahead. He finds himself in a vast, barren clearing, a battlefield. At the center lies Iris, unconscious and severely injured. He rushes to her, relief flooding him as he sees her breathing. Where's the spider? It's odd it left its prey behind. Feeling a sense of danger, he steps forward with caution. Suddenly, the ground erupts and he jumps back just in time. He lands safely as a forest of jagged, chitinous legs bursts forth. The massive black spider reveals itself with a bone-chilling shriek. Ku stands firm against the beast, sweat trickling down his brow. He now recognizes this creature as the black spider. He notices thick, toxic venom oozing from its enormous fangs. He quickly evaluates its speed, magical defenses, and poison. He realizes the clever monster used Iris as bait. The spider emits another shrill, aggressive cry. It lunges with a speed that belies its massive form. Kugarunts struggle to respond to its astonishing swiftness. But he steels himself, determined not to be overwhelmed. He activates his natural combat skill, Pinnacle of Dexterity. He raises his wooden sword to confront the beast's charge. His expression is one of intense focus as he prepares to strike. With a powerful arc, he deflects the massive assault. He lands, having momentarily pushed the creature back. Frustration gnaws at him as he assesses the outcome. The wound he inflicted on its armor is shallow, far from lethal. His priority is clear: save Iris. He must act swiftly. The spider screeches and launches another unyielding attack. Ko is taken aback by the sheer intensity of its assault. He finds himself on the defensive, parrying a barrage of strikes. He struggles against the creature's overwhelming power, gritting his teeth. The force of the blow sends him flying backward. He crashes into a shower of broken rock and debris. Panting, he realizes his armor and recent upgrades saved him. His wooden sword lies on the ground, now just out of reach. The spider shows no mercy, immediately seizing the advantage. It fires a thick, sticky web directly at him. Horror washes over him as he realizes too late. It's a trap. The spider emits a triumphant, hissing screech. He's ensnared, a grim smile of self-mockery on his lips. He struggles against the strong bindings, but can't break free. Pinned to a tree, he can only watch as the monster approaches. He knows a single bite from those fangs would mean death. He forces himself to stay calm, focusing on a way out. A spark of desperation ignites a memory in his mind. He remembers his first moments here, storing a tree in his item box. As the spider lunges, he sets his last-ditch plan into motion. In a desperate move, a blinding burst of light erupts from the tree. The dark spider flinches, bewildered by the sudden vanishing of its target. It screeches in anger at the vacant spot where the tree used to be. Ku rolls through the clearing, hitting the ground hard after his daring escape. He pushes himself up, gasping for air after the risky maneuver. The spider hisses, taunting Ku about his little trick. Kao remembers that his item box can hold anything he touches. Now free, he retrieves his sword, pondering how to take down the beast. His face hardens with determination as a new strategy starts to form. He notices Iris's magnificent spear lying on the devastated ground. He rushes to it, gripping the weapon's powerful shaft. With both weapons in hand, he vows to harness the spear's power to save its owner. He unleashes a fierce battle cry and charges back into the fray. He skillfully uses the spear's length to deflect the spider's furious attacks. The sound of clashing weapons fills the air as he defends against the monster's scything legs. He observes that the spider's evasion skills are impeccable for its size. He yells that he's no longer just wielding a sword. He leaps high, driving the spear's point deep into the spider's head. The creature emits a piercing, agonizing shriek that resonates through the forest. He maintains his position on the creature's back, enduring its violent thrashing. He yanks the spear free, gearing up for another crushing strike. The injured spider continues to fight, its rage undiminished by its wounds. With his sword, Ku blocks a powerful strike aimed at him. His eyes are fixed on his adversary, ready for the next phase of battle. The chaotic exchange of offense and defense blurs into a whirlwind of motion. Finally, the spider falters, screeching in agony from its severe injuries. Ku lands gracefully, his gaze never leaving his formidable foe. He realizes with grim certainty that the spider had been holding back. The monster appears anxious, sweating as it suddenly shifts direction. It scuttles away with unexpected speed, trying to escape the fight. Ku refuses to let it flee and immediately pursues. The spider abruptly halts, energy gathering in a glen above it. It releases a powerful energy blast, sending Ku flying backward. Though injured, the spider presses its hard-won advantage. As he rises, Ku declares that this is the end. He leaps forward, raising his sword high for the final decisive strike. The wooden blade connects, slicing deeply into the monster's armored shell. The spider is cleaved in two, its massive body collapsing. Ku stands over the vanquished beast, exhaling a long sigh of relief. A notification pops up announcing his level up and a newly unlocked skill. He inspects his new auto-mapping skill, likening it to a map app for this world. He snaps back to reality, realizing there's no time for celebration. He screams Iris's name in panic, rushing back to where she fell. He finds her barely alive and knows he must act fast. He conjures a potent healing potion, his last hope for her survival. Cradling her, he remembers the potion's incredible S+ rank recovery effects. He pleads with the potion to work as he carefully pours it into her mouth. A gentle sparkling light begins to envelop Iris's injured form. Her cuts and bruises magically start to close and vanish. The healing light washes over her, restoring her completely. Her eyes flutter open signals the potion worked. Ecstatic, Ku calls out her name as she weakly acknowledges him. She urges him to flee, but he reassures her the spiders are defeated. He gently teases her for fretting over him while she's injured. She reveals she can't move, paralyzed by the venom of the black spider. He smiles, encouraging her to drink the antidote he made. He carefully assists her in consuming the second miraculous potion. Her eyes widen in surprise as she feels the potion's effects. He asks if she can speak, and she confirms the poison has vanished. Now healed, Iris expresses her gratitude, saying she owes him a lot. Feeling the imbalance, Ku suggests she could treat him to dinner. She playfully winks, teasing if he's asking her out. Ku is left utterly shocked and speechless by her boldness. Iris laughs it off, suggesting they head back to town. She attempts to stand but stumbles, her legs still weak. Ku reacts immediately, catching her before she hits the ground. He notes her inability to walk and apologizes before lifting her. As he carries her piggyback, she mentions his incredible victory. She asks if he felt fear facing such a formidable monster alone. Ku pauses, reflecting on his mental state. He admits his mind was solely focused on rescuing her. Touched by his words, Iris murmurs her understanding, hiding her face. When he inquires what's wrong, she quietly replies, "It's nothing." As they continue walking, she softly thanks him again. The massive gates of Oaken Creek swing open upon their arrival. Ku steps through the entrance, Iris still resting on his back. The two rookie adventurers rush out, calling his name in relief. They are thrilled to see both Ku and Iris safe. Milia greets them with a warm smile, welcoming Ku back from his quest. Ku, weary yet satisfied, replies that he has returned. Milia playfully asks what he desires, but he just wants to report. They settle in the guild's cozy reception area to start the debrief. Milius mentions she has a secret to share before he begins. She proudly displays her official guild staff identification card. Ku examines the card, puzzled about what he should see. His eyes widen in disbelief as he finally reads her official title. He exclaims that she is the vice branch manager of the Oaken Guild. He questions why someone so significant is working as a mere receptionist. Milia cheerfully explains it was a temporary disguise to assist. Ku thinks to himself that she doesn't seem like a boss at all. Milia clarifies she revealed her identity to express her genuine gratitude. She bows deeply, thanking him for saving countless lives from the spider. On behalf of the entire Oaken branch, she offers her heartfelt appreciation. Ku feels flustered and taken aback by her formal gesture. Milia gets back to business, asking him to recount his heroic exploits. Ku agrees, cautioning her that the tale might be a bit lengthy. Milia listens closely, intrigued by the unusual wolf pack incident. She is astonished to discover he subdued over 2,000 wolves alone. She demands to know who he truly is, but he simply states he's himself. The scene shifts to Smooth, who had detailed the initial spider attack. In the guild's reception area, Milia inquired about the type of medicine they collaborated on. Ko reveals he formulated a unique antidote after studying the venom of the black spider. Milia declares an executive meeting, confident that his adventure rank will rise. She mentions that A-ranked subjugations come with a hefty reward, specifically 5 million kamsa. Ku is taken aback by the sum, questioning if it's excessively high. Milia clarifies that such a substantial reward is typically divided among a full party. Cal recalls spotting the Adventurers Guild relief party returning. He inquires about Iris's share, considering her sacrifice for the rookie adventurers. Milia winks, assuring him that the guild will duly reward her selfless act. With that, Milia departs to draft her report, advising Kuda to rest. Ku stands there for a moment, astonished by the unexpected turn of events. A familiar voice calls out to him. It's the seasoned adventurer Geese. Geese commends Ko, labeling his solo victory over a black spider as a once-in-a-century achievement. He asks if Ku is busy, but Ku replies that he's on his way back to the inn. Geese beams, pleased that Ku has time to chat. Suddenly, the door to the Golden Pavilion restaurant swings open, heralding the hero's entrance. The entire guild hall erupts in cheers, calling out to the hero of Okan. Ku finds himself swept up in the jubilant celebration, clinking mugs with his allies. He laughs and drinks, surrounded by fellow adventurers. Seated at a table, he shares food and drinks with his newfound companions. A warm smile spreads across his face. He feels genuinely embraced as one of them. A large vine-covered clock on the wall chimes, indicating it's 11 o'clock. The sound jolts Ku, who realizes how late it has gotten. Iris appears at the entrance, asking if he's all right and still awake. A silence descends over the lively guild hall as adventurers notice her arrival. The two rookie adventurers recognize that others are avoiding Iris due to her dragonkin heritage. Ku shakes one of the rookies, urging him to wake up. He reminds the young man that Iris was the one who rescued them from the black spider. Smooth, now alert and determined, calls out to Iris. He and his partner bow deeply, expressing heartfelt thanks for her rescue. Iris is taken aback, her eyes wide with astonishment at their genuine appreciation. Ku joins her, suggesting they unwind with a drink after a long day. He then captures everyone's attention, raising his glass for an announcement. He proclaims that he wasn't the only hero today, explaining how Iris served as a decoy. With a proud grin, he lifts his glass high, proposing a toast to her bravery. The entire guild hall roars in approval, raising their mugs in unison. Iris observes the scene, a small, genuinely touched smile gracing her lips. With this gesture, hope arises that she will finally be embraced by the others. 10 days pass over the tranquil rooftops of Okan. He has settled into his new life, and some changes have begun to unfold. The first change pertains to his adventure rank. He holds up his new guild card. Melia excitedly announces his unprecedented leap from F rank straight to D rank. To reach C rank, he must now tackle town quests akin to odd jobs. His first task involves assisting at the Golden Pavilion, where the owner greets him warmly. The owner tells him to skip the formalities, and Ku agrees to get to work. He ties on his apron, still feeling a bit out of place with the casual adventure lingo. Dressed in an apron made from wolf pelts, he readies himself for the kitchen battlefield. The head chef, a kind older woman, beams at the sight of him today. A young female adventurer in bridal training also greets him with cheer. Ku reflects that while he never cooked in Japan, everything feels different now. With a thunderous roar, he starts slicing vegetables at an astonishing speed and concentration. He zips around the kitchen, whipping up several dishes all at once. He skillfully stirs a large pot, sampling the sauce with expert accuracy. His remarkable talent leaves the other kitchen staff applauding in awe. The owner beams with joy, thrilled by the new staff sandwich Ku crafted. The owner offers him a bonus, and Ku wonders if that's truly acceptable. Giving a thumbs up, the owner insists that good work merits good pay. Ku is moved to tears by his words while savoring the delicious sandwich. His next task of the day involves assisting with the city's wall expansion. The old crumbling walls are being torn down to make room for the growing populace. A stout dwarf foreman greets him with enthusiasm, saying he's been expecting him. The jovial dwarf, a skilled craftsman, requests Ku's help once more today. Ku's job is to clear away the enormous pile of debris from the demolition. He utilizes his item box, making the entire heap disappear in a flash of magic. Afterward, he makes his way to the dwarven workshop located on the east side. He peeks around a wall of freshly made bricks at the awaiting doors. Using his magic again, he instantly transports the bricks to the construction site. The dwarves invite him for a drink, but he politely declines, being on a quest. With that, his town quests for the day are finally wrapped up. He reports his achievements at the guild, arranging for his payment to be deposited. Melia waves goodbye, and he assures her he'll see her again tomorrow. As he departs, another adventurer calls out to him. He turns to see Iris, who inquires if he's done for the day. Ko is glad to see her and asks if she has any plans for the evening. Iris shyly suggests they have dinner together. They soon settle into a cozy routine of dining together nearly every night. They relish a delicious Tao Kao stew at a quaint restaurant. Ku praises the meal, and Iris is happy to see him enjoying it. After their dinner, Iris asks Ko why he came to Okan. Ko explains it was purely by chance, then inquires about her reasons for being there. Iris hesitates for a moment, glancing down at her drink. Ku reassures her that she doesn't have to share, but she insists on explaining. She reveals she's on a quest to find the ruins of a massive underground city near Okan. A title page offers a glimpse of this advanced, lost magical civilization. Iris explains that although the civilization collapsed, its ruins are scattered across the continent. Ko now understands this is her motivation for being in Okan. He thoughtfully repeats the phrase, ancient civilization, to himself. He can't help but smile, envisioning the classic fantasy trope of powerful lost technology. Iris admits she has some clues, but not the precise location. Ku finds it all quite fascinating. He pulls out his mapping device, curious if the location might be marked on it. He extends the device, inviting Iris to examine the area map with him. They lean in close, their heads nearly touching as they study the map together. Ku suddenly freezes, his face just inches from Iris's hair. Iris asks him what's wrong, and a flustered Q quickly replies that it's nothing. He thinks to himself that discovering the city can't possibly be that simple. His eyes widen in disbelief as he stares at the map. A flashing marker appears, pinpointing the entrance to the underground city, 0 inches. He tells Iris it's in the semaphore, but expresses his skepticism. He turns to Iris, his face glowing with excitement over the astonishing find. They agree to explore the location together the next day. Using his map, Ku concludes they've reached the right spot in the Cello Forest. He and the dragon warrior Iris remain vigilant, their faces serious and intent. In a desolate, rocky clearing, Ku observes that there's nothing in sight. He glances at his formidable black spider gauntlets, pondering their potential use today. Iris approaches the cliff, speculating if a hidden entrance might be lurking. Ku joins her, tapping his gauntlet against the stone, searching for secrets. His fist strikes with a hollow sound, uncovering a concealed cavity in the rock. Before him stands a massive, unique stone slab. He senses something lies beyond. With a grunt, he pushes against the stone, exerting all his considerable strength. Even with his S+ rank, Herculean strength, he realizes the slab won't budge. Iris proposes a clever idea. Why not store the enormous rock in his item box? A large, glowing magic circle spreads across the ground as he activates the skill. They both stare in disbelief as the entire section of the cliff disintegrates. An ornate archway appears, and they wonder if this is the legendary entrance. He touches the doorframe, noting its unusual warmth, suspecting it's auric alchem. He identifies the legendary metal, recalling that auric alchem is a fantasy staple. Iris explains that auric alchem is an extremely rare metal, its crafting methods lost. They agree this must be the entrance, yet they're puzzled by the absence of a doorknob. As Ku's hand nears, he's taken aback to see glowing text appear on the door. The ancient inscription offers a blessing to the traveler from a faraway land. He wonders about the meaning of the mysterious message as it starts to glow brighter. A system message greets him by name, initiating a test for master rights. Suddenly, Iris yells a warning, urging him to look behind him at once. A massive magic circle erupts on the ground as the system announces the test's commencement. From the swirling light, a gigantic armored foot begins to take shape. Next, the Guardian's helmeted head forms, its single eye glowing ominously. A colossal auric alchem golem, an ancient magical weapon, now stands before them. Ku groans, feeling a sense of dread. He feared it would be auric alchem. The golem's mechanical eye flashes as it locks onto its targets. A synthesized voice declares that its target is confirmed and elimination will begin. Iris shouts to Ku, ready to spring into action. She bravely steps in front of the golem, urging Ku to run while she distracts it. She remembers it took a party of 20 A-rank adventurers just to barely defeat one. Ku draws his sword, refusing to accept that they have no chance. He insists they must at least attempt to fight before deciding to flee. He declares that leaving a comrade behind to save himself would haunt him. The golem's eye charges with a brilliant light, readying its primary weapon. A powerful energy beam erupts, forcing both adventurers to dive for cover. The golem immediately begins charging its eye for another devastating laser attack. Ku gazes at the smoldering trench, knowing a direct hit would be fatal. He realizes the laser is powered by magic, sparking a brilliant idea. He quickly turns to Iris, asking how her previous party managed to defeat the golem. Iris explains that the golem's only weak point is its eye, which isn't made of auric alchem. He sees a chance for victory, but Iris points out they can't get close with the laser. Ku turns to her with a confident smile, declaring he'll act as her shield. Iris is left speechless, stunned by his bold and unexpected statement. Seeing the determination in his eyes, she trusts him and agrees to the plan. Iris challenges him to prove his worth as they prepare to charge the ancient guardian. United by a common goal, they rush forward to confront the formidable golem. The golem's eye flashes as it gears up to fire another concentrated laser beam. A slender, potent beam of pure energy blasts from its eye, aimed straight at them. Kao raises his black spider gauntlet, ready to intercept the incoming laser. The laser collides with his gauntlet, erupting in a dazzling explosion of energy. The fierce attack is entirely neutralized, harmlessly absorbed by his specialized gear. Iris stares in shock, unable to believe he managed to block the laser. He clarifies that his gauntlet's S+ magic absorption skill is taking in the magical energy. With the golem's most formidable weapon rendered useless, he confidently asserts they can win. Unfazed, the golem persists with its now futile but relentless laser barrage. With a thunderous roar, Ku charges ahead, absorbing the relentless fire to shield Iris. The golem hesitates, its programming seemingly baffled by its disabled weapon. Seizing the moment, Ku shouts to Iris that this is her opportunity to attack. Iris leaps into the air, spear raised high, poised to strike the golem. She unleashes a fierce battle cry as she brings her spear down with all her strength. Her spear finds its mark, the razor-sharp tip plunging straight into the golem's eye. The optical lens shatters, sending a cascade of sparks from the devastating impact. The colossal golem stumbles back, its primary weapon utterly destroyed. It retaliates with a sweeping punch, aiming to crush the nimble dragonkin. Ku moves with astonishing speed, positioning himself to counter the golem's attack. He unleashes a torrent of thick webbing from his gauntlet, ensnaring the golem's arms and torso. He explains that his gauntlet can transform absorbed magic into powerful binding threads. The golem struggles against its restraints, its metallic feet carving trenches in the ground. With the guardian immobilized, Ku rushes in to deliver the final decisive strike. He lets out a mighty roar as he swings his sword at the restrained golem's head. His blade crashes into the golem's helmet with tremendous crushing force. The nearly indestructible orichalca armor finally fractures and shatters under the brutal blow. He channels every ounce of his strength into this final devastating swing. The defeated golem collapses to its knees, beginning to dissolve into particles of light. Ku and Iris stand side by side, watching as the last traces of their formidable foe vanish. Iris, still in disbelief, murmurs that they have truly won the impossible battle. A system message flashes in Ku's mind, notifying him that he has reached level 38. The system announces the test is complete, officially granting him mastery of the underground city. Ku feels bewildered by the sudden shift in events, trying to grasp his new title. He realizes that as the new master, he can finally unlock the sealed door. Iris calls out his name, capturing his attention after the whirlwind of battle. She offers him a warm, heartfelt smile, thanking him for keeping her safe. He reciprocates the gratitude, humbly admitting he couldn't have triumphed alone. Iris agrees, acknowledging she too would have fallen if left to fight solo. She beams, suggesting that their synchronicity might make them a formidable team. Howry returns her smile, a silent yet clear agreement passing between them. He turns back to the enigmatic door, declaring it's finally time to enter. The door glows as the system verifies his magic pattern, welcoming the master home. With a low groan, the massive auric alchem doors begin to creak open. They stand silhouetted in the doorway, ready to venture into the legendary underground city. As they walk, Iris enumerates his many astonishing skills, from his item box to his creation ability. Piecing everything together, she finally inquires if he is a transferred individual. She explains that such powerful beings are mentioned in the ancient legends of her people. These legends speak of otherworldly beings with an impossible array of incredible skills. Hao understands her curiosity, realizing his secret may not remain hidden for long. He confirms her suspicions, but requests she keep the information to herself. Iris agrees, explaining she only wanted to know if he felt comfortable sharing. Iris inquired about Ku's homeland, curious if it lies on a different continent. Kao wrestles internally with whether to reveal his origins from another world. He expresses regret, explaining that his background is quite complex. Iris relates, sharing that she too has a past, making them alike. She reassures him, saying his secrets are fine because she trusts him. Ku gestures toward a radiant light, declaring they are nearing the tunnel's end. They exchange smiles, both thrilled to finally glimpse the fabled city. With renewed energy, they dash toward the luminous exit. They emerge into an overwhelmingly bright light, squinting against it. The world dissolves into a dazzling white as their eyes adjust. An impossibly bright sun hangs in a flawless sky dotted with clouds. They spot a clear, glimmering stream gently flowing over smooth stones. They find themselves in a vast meadow, basking in the sun. Ko and Iris stand speechless, utterly astonished by the view. Iris questions if they weren't meant to be in an underground city, and Ko agrees. Ku glances upward, noting that despite the sky, they are still underground. His adventure instincts kick in, sensing something is amiss. Iris's expression sharpens. Her instincts are on high alert for threats. Weapons drawn, they prepare for a confrontation in the tall grass. A shadow suddenly stirs in the grass, swiftly approaching them. A translucent slime bounces out, frantically insisting it's not a bad monster. Ku and Iris are left speechless, realizing it poses no danger. Cow identifies it as a caretaker slime whose master is him. They both agree the little creature doesn't seem hostile. The slime gazes up at them with a simple, expressive face. It politely introduces itself and its kin as a caretaker slime. Confused by the plural, they wonder what the slime means by we. Suddenly, a massive crowd of slimes appears, all cheering for their master. The entire army of slimes joyfully shouts, pleased to meet them. Ko, completely overwhelmed, can only stammer a nervous, "Nice to meet you too." One slime hops over to Iris, gazing up at her with curiosity. It nuzzles against her, happily declaring that it's ticklish. A soft, delighted laugh escapes Iris as she plays with the slime. Surprised by her reaction, the slime asks what she's doing. Iris blushes as Ku teases her about her fondness for cute things. She turns away blushing, admitting she can't deny it. The slime asks its master if it can explain the underground city's purpose. It clarifies that this area serves as a shelter, a field that can transform into a city. Ko suddenly feels a jolt as his full assist skill connects with the city system. A notification reveals that his creation skill is expanding. A rush of new knowledge and power surges through Ku, leaving him stunned. He grips his head, struggling to comprehend the sudden massive system update. He gazes at the slimes and Iris, a new understanding dawning on him. He realizes his creation skill now includes 2 new conditional functions. Extending his hand, a glowing sphere of light forms. He points to an empty patch of land, deciding to construct something there. With a flick of his wrist, he sends the glowing sphere soaring across the field. He gestures with authority as the sphere of light travels through the air. With a thunderous boom, a large 2-story house materializes instantly. Ku, Iris, and all the slimes stare in utter disbelief at the astonishing sight. Who grasps the initial new ability? His excess MP transforms into construction materials. The next ability enables him to utilize those materials for building structures. He beams, realizing this feels just like a delightful city-building game. The slimes quiver in astonishment, questioning what just occurred. Cow eagerly asks if he can continue creating a city like this. A slime ponders whether he possesses a construction skill necessary for building. Cal understands his situation is unique. Only creators receive this enhancement. The slimes are amazed, inquiring if he has the fabled creation skill. They all cheer, confident their extraordinary master can craft a splendid city. Iris comments that she's never encountered a skill that could render all artisans obsolete. Hal corrects her, clarifying it's not limited to houses but includes weapons, armor, and more. A slime joyfully announces that their master will finish their incomplete city. Who agrees the city will be beneficial but asks them to hold on for a moment. Iris reminds him this is a significant breakthrough and questions if he should report it. Ko concurs, recalling the 3 tenets of a good Japanese salaryman. They opt to head back to Okan, leaving the slimes to clean up the new home. As they depart, Iris sighs, wishing she could have taken a slime or 2 along. At the guild, Kuo discovers the slimes are tied to the city and cannot leave. A stern receptionist informs them that Melia is currently in an emergency meeting. Cow tells her he has something crucial to report. He calmly shares that he has uncovered the ruins of an ancient underground city. The receptionist freezes, her pen suspended over her notes in disbelief. Her composure shatters as she exclaims, utterly shocked. Eris clarifies that Ku found the ruins and they need guidance on what to do next. The flustered receptionist instructs them to wait while she consults her superiors. Ku and Iris are left speechless, though Iris anticipated this reaction. They are escorted to a waiting room for a scholar from the royal capital. While they wait, Ku offers Iris one of the Golden Pavilion's special sandwiches. Iris expresses her gratitude and offers him her homemade lunch in return. The bento box is beautifully presented and looks absolutely mouthwatering. Iris eats as Ku offers her a piece of his fried chicken. Ko is pleasantly surprised by how delicious her cooking is. He praises her talent, and she explains that cooking is more of a hobby for her. She admits that while she usually cooks for herself, receiving compliments feels nice. Ku smiles, reflecting on the softer aspects of Iris he has come to know. A knock at the door catches his attention. Their guest has arrived. The door swings open with a loud, cheerful greeting. A figure with striking blonde hair makes a grand entrance. Who had anticipated an older, more distinguished scholar. The man adjusts his glasses, apologizing for the delay. He flamboyantly introduces himself as Relic D. Hubert, the Duke's second son. Ku wonders if he should adopt a more formal demeanor given the man's noble lineage. He begins to rise, but Relic quickly raises a hand to halt him. Relic insists they treat him as an equal regardless of his noble background. He explains that he dislikes formality. It makes him feel uncomfortable. He takes a seat and gets right to the point, eager to hear their tale. With barely contained enthusiasm, he urges them to share about the underground city. Standing at the ruin's entrance, Relic is left utterly speechless. He rushes to the door, ecstatically exclaiming that it's real or a calcum. Ku observes the excited scholar, noting that some people get overly enthusiastic about anything. Relic anxiously urges KU to move forward. Meanwhile, a system voice announces that the magic pattern verification is complete. As they pass through the grand auric alchemy doors, a soothing voice resonates, welcoming the master back. A flustered Relic turns to Cow, bewildered by the system referring to him as master. Ku confesses he already flagged the fine using his mapping skill and came to verify its existence. Relic remains in disbelief, questioning if Ko and Iris truly took down the auric alchem golem alone. The trio stands in awe, staring at an impossible sunlit meadow deep underground. Relic wonders if this is genuinely underground, feeling a soft breeze and the scent of fresh grass. He gazes at a small, crystal-clear stream, astonished that a surface-like environment could be so flawlessly replicated. Overjoyed, he proclaims this find will change history and hurriedly starts drafting his next academic paper. A cheerful bouncing sound announces the arrival of a translucent slime, greeting the master and his sister. The slime turns to the newcomer, introducing itself as a caretaker slime and offering a polite greeting. The sight of a legendary creature from ancient tales leaves Relic utterly stunned. He identifies it as an ancient magical entity and inquires if the creature somehow recognizes him. Relic boasts of his expertise. Amazed that the legendary caretaker slime is indeed real, he gestures toward the house Ku constructed, asking the friendly slime if it was his creation. The slime joyfully clarifies that the master built the entire house in a single astonishing moment. Hao confirms to a shocked Relic that he can freely develop the underground city as its master. The slime elaborates that the city remains incomplete and Ku now holds the power to finish it. Ko remarks that it's inappropriate for an amateur to meddle with ruins, which is why he reported it. Relic takes Ku's hands, thrilled that such a responsible individual uncovered this historical treasure. He gives an enthusiastic thumbs up, vowing to repay Ku for his respect towards history. Ku ponders the offer, questioning if the professor genuinely means he can request anything. He asks Relic to enlighten him about the ancient civilization, as he lacks inspiration for building. They settle inside the house, which features a surprisingly modern and cozy living room. Relic, sitting barefoot on the couch, reflects that the ancients must have removed their shoes indoors. Ku feels completely at ease, noting how much the interior resembles a home in Japan. He wonders if this world is Earth's far-off future, making him a transferred individual. With a serious demeanor, Relic gets ready to start his lecture on the lost ancient civilization. He explains that it was a magnificent civilization that thrived on the surface around 5,000 years ago. Their magical technology was so sophisticated that they even reached for the stars. He mentions modern conveniences like magical lamps and guild cards, all derived from their excavated relics. Recent studies even imply they possessed flying mechanical birds and palm-sized communication devices. Who identifies these as airplanes and smartphones, a civilization that advanced magic instead of science. However, Relic explains this great civilization abruptly disappeared and their advanced technology was lost. Iris and Ku inquire about what transpired, speculating if it was destroyed in a global war. Relic shakes his head, stating that while the specifics are unclear, research suggests one cause. He unveils the chilling theory. Their downfall was brought about by a monster known as the Calamity. Ko repeats the term, disturbed by the idea of an unknown monster being the culprit. He feels a dreadful premonition that this calamity is somehow linked to his own transference. Iris confirms the calamity exists in Dragonkin legend, an adversary they battled alongside humans. Ultimately, she states, they were utterly defeated, forcing the Dragonkin into hiding. Relic connects this to the recent spike in unusual monster activity across the continent. Iris agrees, listing the formidable monsters near Okan and the wolf swarm as unprecedented occurrences. Ku grows anxious, contemplating what might happen if the calamity were to awaken now. A heavy, grim atmosphere envelops the room, leaving the three of them in tense silence. The tension shatters with a cheerful bouncing sound as a slime peeks out from behind the sofa. Wearing a frilly apron, a caretaker slime arrives with trays of tea and snacks for everyone. It proudly displays a lavish spread of pancakes, inviting them all to indulge and enjoy. A single flawless pancake rests on a fork, glistening with freshly drizzled syrup. Ku takes a bite, his expression contemplative as he relishes the delicious, fluffy texture. His face beams with delight as he proclaims the meal delicious, with Iris nodding in agreement beside him. An empty plate and utensils remain as someone comments on how tasty it was. Relic envies the ancients for their feasts, joking he'd balloon up if he lived here. Suddenly, a question crosses his mind, altering his expression. He inquires of the slime where it sourced the ingredients and dishes for their feast. The slime cheerfully reveals that caretaker slimes are linked to an item box. Ku looks puzzled and slightly disgusted, questioning how a body connects to an item box. The slime excitedly explains that all kinds of items are stored in its dimensional space. It then stretches its gelatinous form, extracting something large, leaving Relic in shock. Iris gasps in surprise as she and Ko witness the unbelievable sight. With a soft pop, the slime produces a full-sized rocking chair, asking if they're surprised. Who grimaces, realizing the delicious pancakes were made from ingredients stored in the slime. Eager to shift topics, Relic brings up the calamity, proposing an idea. He asks if he would be willing to construct additional buildings in the city. He shares he has two motivations, his research and future preparations. Iris and Ku agree that considering recent events, the city could be a vital evacuation site. Ko smiles, admitting the chance to engage in a real-life city-building game is too tempting. With renewed resolve, he stands before the vacant field, ready to take action. The three companions gather on the grassy hill, gazing over the expansive, empty land. Ku notes he possesses over 8,000 units of building materials, enough for some intriguing recipes. He uncovers a recipe that enables him to create an entire residential district for 2,000 materials. As he conjures a glowing orb of energy in his palm, Relic exclaims in astonishment. Ku explains it's an egg for a building, urging his friends to observe closely. He throws the orb, which zips across the field in a dazzling flash of light. As the light expands, outlines of numerous houses begin to form from thin air. In an instant, a complete, beautifully crafted residential district appears where grass once lay. The newly formed houses are flawless, featuring detailed doors, windows, and even small awnings. The street is adorned with lampposts, and the air glimmers with fading creation magic. Iris declares his power is godlike, while Relic excitedly calls it an overpowered cheat skill. Iris notes that while other unique skills exist, none rival Ku's ability. She trails off, nearly saying transferred person, catching herself just in time. Quickly, she shifts the topic to the lovely weather as Ku gives her a knowing look. An ecstatic Relic asks Ku if he can examine the new buildings up close. He dramatically thanks them and rushes off to begin his archaeological exploration. A slime hops over to Cow, amazed that the master constructed so many houses for them. It requests permission to furnish the new homes, and Ko tells them to proceed. The slime joyfully rallies its companions, and the entire crowd of slimes rushes off to work. Later, Chow is seen using the city of Okun as inspiration for his ongoing city building. He establishes commercial food production in residential areas with the slimes assisting. He and Iris survey the thriving town, struggling to believe it was just a field hours ago. Ku ponders the true hidden potential of his creation skill and where it might ultimately lead. As they prepare to depart, Relic vows to inform His Majesty the King of their remarkable discovery. Who would have thought? The king himself is involved in this matter. Relic apologizes for not mentioning it earlier, clarifying he holds a specific title. He reveals his full identity, Professor Relic D. Hubert from the Royal Academy's Archaeology Lab. He explains he develops new magical tools like lamps and stoves based on his research. He tells them to anticipate a new magic tool he'll announce next month. He then winks, saying he's a shy person, so they should keep treating him casually. Cow smiles, having made a powerful and intriguing new friend in the eccentric professor, who agrees to stay in contact, and the three new friends exchange a warm farewell. The earth beneath the subterranean city starts to tremble violently. The intense quake sends the Cow, Iris, and the scholar Relic reeling. Ku is taken aback by the unexpected intensity of the jolt. Iris yelps softly but stumbles due to the shaking ground. Relic yells in alarm, completely caught off guard. Ku instinctively steadies his companions as they wobble. Ku inquires about the cause, while Iris speculates it might be an earthquake. Relic observes that the tremor was oddly brief and sudden. A panicked voice suddenly shouts a warning about a dire event. A caretaker slime bounces in, urging the master to hurry. The trio watches, surprised by the slime's urgent request. The slime guides them across the field, declaring this is the moment. Ku glances ahead, a bead of sweat forming, sensing a significant shift. A towering black monolith looms before them as Ku questions its nature. The slime clarifies that the bizarre structure emerged with the quake. Ku gazes at the intricate glowing magic circle etched into its surface. He realizes the design matches the one that summoned the auric alchem golem. Relic ponders aloud, making a connection. Recognizing it's a teleportation circle, Ku calls out to Relic as it activates. As they disappear, Iris asks Ku for his thoughts, but he knows there's no going back. Ku and Iris share a resolute glance before being whisked away. He places his hands on the monolith, embracing their new journey. A brilliant flash of light envelops them and they vanish. They reappear in a dark, unfamiliar cavernous chamber. Ku checks his map, revealing a single straight path ahead. A voice calls out, and they spot Relic rushing toward them. The scholar expresses his relief that they made it safely. Ku replies that of course they came, while Relic wonders if they were worried. Relic beams, and Iris shares her relief that he is unharmed. Ku's heightened senses suddenly pick up a strange noise nearby. A soft, wet slapping sound reverberates from the darkness. Ku warns Relic to step back, sensing a lurking monster. The slapping sound intensifies as a figure emerges from the shadows. A new slime appears, insisting it is not a monster. The party stands in stunned silence at the unexpected sight. The creature adjusts its glasses, preparing to speak. It introduces itself as a special glasses slime. Ku asks the peculiar creature where they find themselves. The slime explains they are in the city's deepest part, the Abyss Domain. This place monitors one of the calamities, the Black Dragon. The mention of one catches Ku off guard, prompting him to ask the slime to pause. He questions if this implies there could be 2 or even 3 calamities. The slime confirms there are many, though the precise count remains unknown. Relic and Iris are horrified by this dreadful, unrecorded reality. The slime continues, emphasizing that the crucial part is what follows. It clarifies that this domain is typically sealed, opening only under specific conditions. Ku asks if this means the Black Dragon is set to be revived, and the slime affirms. The devastating revelation hits all 3 like a physical blow. Ku clutches his head, overwhelmed by the impossible predicament. He laments that this feels less like an isekai and more like a final boss showdown. The slime reveals that the dragon rests in the Fattest Mountains and will awaken in 10 days. It mentions there's more to share, but they need to relocate first. The group moves forward, their expressions heavy with realization. They enter a spacious room adorned with tiles, featuring a pedestal in the middle. The slime clarifies that the crystal orb serves to replay historical events. Ku reaches out, his gloved hand resting on the orb's chilly surface. The device activates, and the playback sequence commences. A grand holographic projection of an ancient city materializes. The slime states this footage captures the city from 4,000 years past. In the recording, a massive, fearsome black dragon swoops down from above. The dragon opens its maw, gathering a sphere of pure destructive energy. Its jaws snap shut, unleashing a catastrophic breath attack. A torrent of black flames crashes into the city below. The futuristic structures of the city are instantly obliterated by the explosion. Countless lives are engulfed by the apocalyptic inferno. The dragon observes, smoke curling from its jagged maw. The entire city is left as a smoldering, explosive wasteland. The recording concludes with a final, blinding flash of white light. Ku stares in horrified silence at the devastation. The slime somberly notes that over 1 million lives vanished in seconds. Ku realizes this foe possesses an entirely different level of power. Iris likens the dragon's overwhelming might to a natural disaster. Relic turns to Ku, urgency lacing his voice. He insists they must return to Oak immediately, trembling with anxiety. He believes their only chance lies in evacuating the citizens to the underground city. Ku nods, his expression serious and determined. The slime warns they have a mere 3 days. It's a race against time. The glasses slime teleports them back, and they hurry to the Okan Adventurers Guild. They step into the lively guild hall, packed with adventurers. The atmosphere inside feels unusually tense and charged. Ku observes the odd mood, curious about what transpired. Milia rushes to the entrance to greet them, welcoming them back. She expresses gratitude to Relic for his efforts and inquires about the underground city. Relic affirms that it is indeed a remnant of the ancient civilization. Milia apologizes, stating the current situation makes celebration difficult. Ku asks what's amiss, prompting her to share the grim news. She reports that signs of a stampede have been spotted in the fattest mountains. Cal repeats the term stampede, grasping its serious implications. Iris explains it's akin to a torrential downpour of monsters converging. Milia adds that a massive surge of magical energy was detected that morning. The guild anticipates an onslaught of over 50,000 monsters will strike Okun in 3 days. Relic exclaims this is a catastrophe that occurs only once every century. Milia confirms that the local lord's forces were decimated by a previous stampede. She warns that Okun's remaining defenses will be utterly overwhelmed. She turns to them, posing a serious and crucial question. She asks if the underground city can serve as an evacuation refuge. Iris and Relic exchange confident glances. Corey reassures her, declaring that it's absolutely manageable. That night, they stand on a hill, gazing at the newly constructed city. Milia gazes in wonder, finding it hard to believe this sprawling town is entirely underground. A figure advances, boots crunching against the grassy ground. The Oak and Guildmaster Jit and Varden deem Ku truly remarkable. He formally asks to utilize the underground city for Okan's citizens' refuge. Ku beams, affirming that was indeed his plan from the start. A thankful Dighton places a hand over his chest, expressing heartfelt gratitude. Iris and Coop assure they will ensure everyone's safe evacuation. Ku starts to alert them about the looming return of the Black Dragon. Suddenly, an urgent call for the Master interrupts him. The bespectacled slime teleports in, startling the group. It yells in panic, urging them to pay attention. Something dreadful has occurred. Ku is taken aback, recognizing the slime from the depths of the ruins. He grips the trembling slime, attempting to soothe its frantic state. The slime reveals a stampede is forming in the fattest mountains. It explains that the Horde's high magic concentration is acting as a catalyst. It screams that the Black Dragon's revival is speeding up far beyond expectations. The cow stands utterly speechless at this terrifying revelation. The group views a holographic recording of the Black Dragon destroying an ancient city. Milia is filled with dread, realizing such a formidable beast was so nearby. Chiton shakes, stating that the stampede alone is already a dire predicament. The slime confirms the dragon will awaken by morning at the latest. Ku grimly understands Okun will face both threats after dawn. Jitan resolves to head back to the city immediately to start evacuation plans. The slime urges Kudas to stay, as it has a place to show him. Who questions what location the slime could possibly want to reveal now? It discloses a concealed vault filled with treasures left for him by the ancients. Who stands before 3 doors, pondering which one to open. The slime clarifies the doors are designated for a hero, a sage, or a demon lord. Cal reflects quietly, aware he fits none of those categories. He asserts that none of the roles suit him, leaving the slime stunned. He approaches the doors as a system check verifies his status. The system announces that his creation skill grants him access to all doors. The left door's lock clicks open with a distinct sound. The central door's lock also disengages audibly from its frame. The final lock on the right door clicks open as well. With a heavy grinding noise, all 3 massive doors swing open at once. Ku opts to investigate the chambers, starting with the left one. He strides confidently down the lengthy corridor of the hero's chamber. He gazes ahead with determination, prepared for whatever awaits. He steps into a vast chamber where a colossal sword rests on a pedestal. He notices the magnificent sword lies shattered into 2 large fragments. The slime identifies it as the fabled dragon-slaying demon sword. It was broken 4,000 years ago during the clash with the Black Dragon. Who muses that a hero was destined to wield it, but he isn't one. He decides to store the broken pieces in his item box for now. As he stashes the pieces, a sudden brilliant idea hits him. He holds the broken parts, declaring he knows what must be done. He activates his creation skill, shouting, "Like this!" In a dazzling flash of light, the sword is reforged, whole and powerful. He wields the newly forged dragon-slaying demon swordgram, its enhanced powers evident. The glass slime is utterly astonished by this unbelievable achievement. He inquires about how it was fixed. Ku clarifies he possesses the creation skill. The slime is struck with awe, realizing it must be a divine skill. Kao mentions that a recipe appeared the moment he stored the fragments. The sword's appraisal showcases its remarkable dragon-slaying prowess in Ultimate Strike. He understands this is the ideal weapon to confront the Black Dragon. Content: he stores the sword and moves toward the other doors. Upon entering the Demon Lord's chamber, he is left completely speechless. A gigantic spider-like tank looms before him, resembling a mobile fortress. The slime recognizes it as a high-output magic laser cannon for the Stampede. Ku decides to take it, placing the enormous weapon in his item box. The slime observes that only a Demon Lord should be capable of moving such a device. His full assist confirms that his item box possesses unlimited capacity as an anomaly. In the Sage's chamber, the slime notes he is crafting something once more. Ku employs his creation skill on a heap of broken golem parts. The components swiftly come together, accompanied by loud metallic clanking. A destroyer golem stands complete, the ultimate weapon against the Stampede. Kao expresses admiration, noting that the term ultimate weapon is quite dependable. The golem's eyes illuminate as it acknowledges its new master. The golem extends its hand, requesting Ku to take care of it. It pounds its chest, vowing to tackle the impending Stampede. It gives a thumbs up, asking the slime for its support as well. It salutes, stating it will await his command before being stored away. Ku is prepared to proceed, but the slime is worn out from his relentless pace. He approaches the last item, a large shattered shield resting on a pedestal. The slime explains it's the shield of the dragon god from 4,000 years past. It was broken by the Black Dragon, but the slime believes Kao can mend it. Ku decides to give it a shot, activating his creation skill. He ponders how this item will be improved, then hesitates. He appears puzzled, sensing something amiss with the creation process. He is shocked to discover he cannot repair the shield. The slime suggests he might lack a crucial material for creation. The slime admits it doesn't know the exact details of what's needed. It reveals he requires the Crimson Jewel of the Dragon God, a rare artifact. Ku realizes he has no time to journey to another country. He concludes that Graham and the Destroyer Golem will have to suffice. As he exits the vault, the slime expresses gratitude for his efforts. The slime informs him there's one final bonus awaiting him. It extends a glowing pseudopod toward Ku's outstretched hand. It touches his hand, granting him the blessing of the spirits. A warm, gentle light radiates from Ku's hand as power surges in. He is taken aback by the sudden and mysterious surge of power. The slime explains that the spirits will assist him in times of need. Ku pets the slime remarks that sounds quite reassuring and dependable. He then wonders to himself what exactly spirits are in this realm. A message clarifies that spirits are born from strong thoughts and always watch over people. Later, Company sits with Iris in a house located in the underground city. He asks her how things are progressing in the town of O'Kane. Iris reports that the evacuation is going smoothly, with no signs of panic. Ku feels relieved upon hearing this, and Iris inquires about his own experience. He explains he discovered items in the vault that will aid against the Black Dragon. Iris wears a serious look, ready to finally share her secret with Ku. Seeing her downcast demeanor, Ku softly inquires about her troubles. She confesses that she hasn't explained her quest for the ancient ruins. She discloses that she left her homeland in search of the dragon god's shield. Ku is left speechless by her unexpected and weighty revelation. The shield vanished 4,000 years ago during the Calamity's fierce battle. In the vault, Ku offers to return the broken shield to Iris. She quickly halts him, placing her hands over his, urging him to wait. Ku gazes at her, puzzled by her abrupt interruption. With a spark of hope, she wonders if his crafting skill can repair it. He clarifies that it's challenging without the dragon god's crimson jewel. Iris nonchalantly states she possesses it, leaving Ku utterly astonished. Calmly, she reaches into her small pouch at her side. She reveals the radiant crimson jewel of the dragon god. Ku holds the sacred orb, feeling a gentle warmth radiate from it. Iris explains that legend says he, a transferred individual, must wield it. Without a moment's pause, Ku places the jewel on the shattered shield. A dazzling light erupts as he channels his immense power. He focuses, pouring his energy into the legendary relic. A magic circle ignites as his crafting ability comes to life. The magnificent shield of the dragon god is restored to its former glory. A system notification outlines its power, leaving Iris in disbelief. In awe, she whispers, reaching out to feel the flawless surface. She glances up from the shield, a sudden realization striking her. Ku notices her anxious expression and asks if something's amiss. He explains that while the shield is fixed, he can't utilize it. To unlock its potential, the Maiden of the Dragon God skill is essential. Ku is surprised when Iris appears unfazed by this revelation. A confident smile graces her lips as she begins to explain. She proudly declares that she is the one who holds that very skill. An image of the ancient dragon Ken Maiden appears, adorned in elegance. The Maiden's dual destiny was to retrieve the shield and deliver the jewel. Unlike all who came before, Iris has finally completed the mission. Ku can only marvel at the sheer, unbelievable coincidence of it all. The vault opened for him, and Iris held the key to the shield's power. He starts to feel an odd sense of fate guiding him. It feels as if this entire journey was designed specifically for him. Later, at the Serene Moon Inn, Ku attempts to find some rest. He lies in the vast canopy bed, but sleep eludes him. He remembers Guildmaster Yitten advising him to rest for the upcoming battle. With such a monumental fight ahead, his nerves are frayed. A soft knock at the door shatters the silence. Melia stands there, asking for a moment of his attention. Inside his room, she apologizes for the late hour but has crucial news. She confirms she heard that he and Iris plan to confront the Black Dragon alone. Ku affirms that this is indeed their strategy. He explains they will engage while others protect the evacuees. Melia closes her eyes, accepting their perilous decision. She then hands him a small item, urging him to take it. She tells him this gift might turn out to be quite useful. He gazes at a sleek, unadorned ring resting in his hand. The inscription on the ring reveals an ancient blessing for those who face dragons. He ponders the significance of surrendering his vessel to the abyss. Melia is taken aback by his ability to decipher it, but he claims it's a talent. She clarifies that it's referred to as the Ring of Spirits. A merchant advised her to bestow it upon someone daring enough to confront a dragon. As he dons the ring, Ku experiences an unexpected rush of energy. A notification pops up revealing a newly acquired skill, material synthesis. Melia inquires if the ring carries a curse, but he reassures her about his new skill. She is astonished, realizing that skills are typically inherent. Feeling relieved, she understands that giving him the ring was the right decision. Ku raises his hand, noting how perfectly the ring fits. Milius gladly admires it, declaring it a fine ring. She winks, admitting the guild contributed to its cost as a reward. Ku nervously wonders if she intends to resign from her position. She confidently states she won't, as her career is looking bright. She fully believes he will easily overcome both challenges. He chuckles nervously, feeling she might be overrating his abilities. With a radiant smile, Melia insists he's capable. He returns her smile, her faith bolstering his resolve. The late hour finally catches up to him, prompting a big yawn. Melia, noticing his yawn, finds herself yawning as well. She comments on the late hour, attributing her yawn to his. Deciding it's time to go, she tells him to rest well. They exchange well wishes for the crucial battle ahead. The next morning breaks, sunlight spilling over Okan. Kao perches on the edge of his bed, ready to face the day. He reviews his new material synthesis skill, capable of crafting superior items. After working with Fenrir pelts, a new equipment recipe materializes. With a burst of light, he starts forging his new gear. Clad in the stunning Fenrir coat, he exudes power. With a steely resolve, he knows it's time to move. His preparations are done. Now he must give it everything. In the underground city, Okan's residents marvel at their new refuge. The slimes cheer, eager to assist in any way possible. Ku clears his throat, readying himself to speak to the large gathering. He steps forward, capturing the attention of the evacuees. He introduces himself as Kausika, the city's master. Instantly, he regrets sounding so formal and stiff. He reassures them that everything is set for their safety. A man in the crowd recognizes him as the famed bear slayer. Others recall him as the kind adventurer from the town quest. Iris observes from the crowd, her face beaming with pride. Kao stands before the crowd, a symbol of hope amid turmoil. Their trust brings him relief, though it feels slightly embarrassing. The sound of hurried footsteps cuts through the crowd's chatter. Melia rushes toward him, urgently calling his name. She informs him that the monster stampede has officially started. He realizes with a heavy heart that the horde is approaching. Iris inquires about the evacuation status. They're only 70% done. With a serious look, Coop understands they won't arrive on time at this rate. Melia, her voice trembling, confesses it hurts to ask but pleads for them to stop the horde. Iris cheerfully reassures Melia, saying they were getting bored and welcome the task. Purpose clear, Coop issues the order, and he and Iris rush to confront the danger. They journey beneath the moonlight, heading toward the perilous Phaedos Mountains. Their path leads them to a vast, desolate expanse, the chosen ground for their last stand. Ko confirms this is the midpoint between the city and the mountains for their defense. Iris notes the absence of cover, but Ku confidently assures her it will be all right. In a brilliant flash, Ko calls forth his secret weapons, 2 ancient war machines. Iris stands speechless, her hand over her mouth, stunned by the astonishing sight. Before his ancient machines, he proclaims they will obliterate all foes. Iris praises him for crafting such wonders, but he modestly attributes it to his unique talents. The destroyer golem acknowledges its master, its sensors picking up the approaching stampede. Ko tells the golem its moment has arrived, and the ancient machine confirms its readiness. The golem's optical sensors ignite. Its systems are primed for battle. The ancient weapon stands tall, ready to protect its master and his loyal ally. The golem expresses gratitude to its master, thrilled to finally see action. Ku is slightly surprised by his golem's almost childlike excitement for the upcoming fight. Iris suddenly notices movement on the horizon and urgently alerts Ku, pointing to the hills. The monstrous stampede finally emerges, a terrifying wave of claws and fangs surging over the hills. Ku asks Cyrus if she's prepared for the battle ahead, and she affirms without hesitation. The golem announces that the powerful laser cannon is fully charged and awaits orders. Ko calmly shuts his eyes, taking a moment to center himself before issuing the command. He opens his eyes, a confident grin on his face as he points at the enemy. Before his mighty golem, he points decisively at the advancing monster horde. He gives a simple yet devastating command to his ancient weapon: eliminate them. A massive beam of pure energy erupts from the cannon, racing across the terrain toward the monsters. The beam crashes into the front lines of the horde, resulting in a catastrophic, fiery explosion. The ancient weapon unleashes its full destructive force upon the swarming enemy. Iris stands in awe, murmuring to herself about the overwhelming power she just witnessed. The aftermath of the blast leaves a massive, swirling cloud of smoke and debris. Ko is astonished to discover he has leveled up, realizing he gains experience from his golem's kills. The golem reports its cooldown is complete and begins a mop-up operation. Ku decides they should join the fray, instructing Iris to take the right flank while he covers the left. Iris playfully winks, proposing a friendly competition where the loser buys dinner. He accepts her challenge with a confident grin, knowing he must get serious now. The trio charges forward together, ready to confront the remaining scattered monsters. He sees this as the ideal moment to test the effects of his newly crafted Fenrir code. He activates his ultimate skill, the powerful blessing from the god of speed. He marvels as the world around him seems to slow down, time bending to his will. A gigantic spider lunges at him, its movements now appearing slow and predictable to his enhanced senses. He effortlessly dodges the attack, his blade poised for a swift counter. With a single, impossibly quick motion, he brings down the massive spider. Without missing a beat, he calls for the next challenger to face him. He instantly appears behind another monster, moving too fast for it to respond. The second creature falls just as easily as the first, completely defenseless. The incredible surge of speed fades as quickly as it began, leaving him momentarily dazed. He realizes that the 2-second burst of power has drained an astonishing 60% of his magic. Aware of its high cost, he knows he must use his powerful skills wisely and strategically. Another spider monster hisses, preparing to strike at the now stationary and seemingly vulnerable hero. He grins at the beast, planning to leave it with a memorable farewell gift. Now's the moment to put the legendary might of his reforged sword Graham to the test. With a thunderous roar, he activates the sword's ultimate ability, the War God's decisive strike. A powerful surge of energy erupts from his sword, crashing into the monster. The spider is sliced cleanly in half, its body collapsing into 2 separate pieces. He levels up again from the kill, his stats soaring to remarkable new heights. He discovers that the range and potency of his new skills depend on the magic he channels. Thrilled by this revelation, he resolves to unleash the full power of his skills next. Suddenly, he jumps as his legendary sword Graham starts to shake violently in his grip. He raises the glowing, trembling sword high, bewildered by the strange occurrence. A system notification appears overhead, announcing the Black Dragon's return and activating his sword's true potential. A grim, eager smile spreads across his face. He senses the real fight is about to commence. Meanwhile, Iris finds herself completely encircled by a ferocious pack of wolves. One of the snarling beasts lunges at her, its sharp fangs ready to strike. She calmly activates her shield's Dragon God's barrier, effortlessly nullifying the wolf's assault. With a fierce shout, she prepares to counter the now dazed and off-balance wolf. Her spear darts forward, taking down the creature with a single precise thrust. She exhales in frustration, gazing at the endless swarm, realizing they just keep coming. Unyielding, she maintains her brave defense, repelling the relentless pack of wolves. Suddenly, her head whips around, her eyes wide with shock at something behind her. Kulans appears beside her in a blur, his movements too swift for her to follow. He apologizes for taking her kill, leaving her stunned and questioning his speed. She glances down at her shield, her face a mask of utter disbelief. He gravely informs her that this is a crisis. The black dragon is approaching. The news hits her like a physical blow, leaving her stunned and speechless. From afar, the destroyer golem urgently calls out to its master, sensing the looming threat. The golem instructs them to concentrate on the dragon, assuring them he'll handle the cleanup here. Ku waves his thanks, amused by his golem's supportive and encouraging cheers. Iris observes how well he and his golem work together, like true allies in battle. Kao studies his map, recalling that the black dragon was meant to be resting in the mountains. His map now displays a new marker pinpointing the exact location of the dragon's emergence. Ku suggests they investigate the site, and Iris eagerly agrees to join him. Without a moment's hesitation, they dash toward the ominous mountain range. Weapons drawn and ready, they brace themselves for the fight of their lives. They arrive to find a massive black sphere ominously hovering above the mountains. Cracks of dark energy begin to snake across the surface of the pulsating orb. They watch in alarm as the sphere starts to fracture and break apart from within. The colossal sphere looms in the sky, a terrifying omen of the impending disaster. Hal realizes with growing dread that it resembles a giant egg on the verge of hatching. A large fissure opens on the sphere's surface, revealing the abyssal darkness contained within. The sphere continues to crack and splinter, unable to hold back the immense power inside. Finally, it explodes in a blinding, silent burst of dark energy and light. A world-shaking roar erupts from the explosion, the sound of ancient malice unleashed. From the remnants of the shattered sphere, the massive, fearsome form of a black dragon emerges. The Black Dragon of Annihilation, a Calamity-class monster, has been revived after 4,000 years. Who identifies the creature, his voice tinged with orange-red? The Calamity, the Black Dragon of Annihilation. Its baleful eye, a vertical slit of pure ancient hatred, glares down at the two heroes. It unleashes another deafening roar, a sound so powerful it rattles the very foundations of the world. Ko winces, noting that an ordinary person would struggle to endure the sheer volume of the roar. He remains unaffected, but rushes to Iris's side as she reels from the sonic onslaught. Iris, drenched in sweat, yet determined, warns Ku not to underestimate the resilience of the dragonkin. Ku observes, his expression calm and resolute. His appraisal ability indicates that the dragon's cursed scales need a unique weapon. With a wry grin, he thinks how fortunate he is to have found Graham. With Iris at his side, he announces it's time for a trial run. The black dragon hovers ominously above the melee range mountains. Kao, undeterred, decides on a plan of action. With a fierce battle cry, he lifts the enormous dragon-slaying demon sword. He swings it, unleashing a massive wave of pure energy. The dragon glances down, taken aback by the sudden assault. The energy wave cuts into its wing, spilling black blood. The Calamity emits a thunderous roar of sheer pain. Chao yells in victory, realizing his strike was successful. The injury is minor, far from lethal, but it's a promising start. Filled with newfound confidence, they believe victory is within reach. The furious dragon gathers a swirling mass of dark energy in its mouth. Ku looks up, feeling the overwhelming power of the impending attack. He calls out to Iris, entrusting her with their defense. Iris vows to repay her life debt by shielding him. She activates her shield's ultimate skill, the Dragon God's Barrier, EX. The dragon releases a catastrophic torrent of apocalyptic black flames. The flames engulf the golden hexagonal energy barrier. The barrier withstands, redirecting the destructive fire into the mountains. Iris struggles against the immense force, sweat trickling down her forehead. The shield radiates brightly, completely nullifying the dragon's inferno. The dragon roars in anger, its mightiest attack rendered ineffective. It forsakes its altitude and dives from the sky. The colossal creature prepares for a physical assault. Ku and Iris brace themselves for the impending collision. The dragon descends with horrifying speed and force. It crashes its claws into the barrier with the impact of an avalanche. The dragon god's barrier, EX, begins to crack under the tremendous pressure. The powerful shield ultimately shatters from the overwhelming force. He activates the blessing of the god of Speedy X skill. He moves like a blur, racing past Iris toward the dragon. The beast is caught off guard by his sudden, impossible velocity. Iris watches in disbelief, her mouth agape, eyes wide as she struggles to grasp his movements. Appearing behind the dragon, Ku expresses gratitude to Iris for her support. He informs the beast that its movements will be halted. He aims his gauntlet, ready to unleash the black spider's power. A thick, powerful stream of webbing shoots from his hand. The threads ensnare the astonished dragon, binding it tightly. The immobilized giant crashes to the ground. Ku and Iris brace themselves against the rising cloud of dust. The dragon roars in rage, thrashing against its restraints. Iris asks in disbelief if they are truly winning. Chao resolves to capitalize on their advantage before the dragon escapes. He declares he will channel all his remaining magic into the next strike. The dragon senses the massive surge of energy. A colossal wave of power crashes into the dragon's chest. The strike meets the creature's own energy head-on. A blinding explosion fills the entire vicinity. The force of the blast sends Ku flying backward. A voice calls out his name, filled with worry. She beams at him, reminding him of her vow to keep him safe. Ku returns her smile, expressing his gratitude. They observe the smoke dissipate, questioning the beast's fate. Their faces shift to disbelief as a figure appears. Two sinister eyes shine through the settling haze. The furious dragon erupts, roaring with fresh rage. Injured yet unyielding, the disaster looms before them. A gigantic sphere of darkness unfurls from the dragon. Ku and Iris gaze upward as the sky turns pitch black. He stumbles, sensing an odd draining force. Confusion washes over him as his energy fades. He grips his head, feeling his magic being siphoned away. His MP gauge drops rapidly, a troubling sight. The dragon has unleashed a dark field to absorb magic. Its absorption rate far exceeds his MP recovery. With his MP dwindling, escape seems impossible. He steels himself, knowing he has no alternatives. He channels all his remaining magic into his sword. He activates Graham's ultimate ability, War God's Decisive Strike. A massive beam of energy hurtles toward the dragon. He yells that if this fails, they're done for. The colossal force of the attack crashes into the dragon. He pushes the blast with every ounce of strength he has left. The dragon's protective barrier starts to fracture. The barrier explodes into countless shards of light. The attack fades, leaving the dragon injured, but still standing. Kozai's disbelief grows as his power diminishes. He collapses to one knee, completely drained of MP. The black dragon emits a final victorious roar. It unleashes another wave of cataclysmic fire. Iris screams Ku's name, realizing he is utterly defenseless. She vows to protect him, just as she promised. She stands in front of him, shield raised against the flames. The already weakened barrier buckles under the renewed onslaught. With a final thunderous crack, the shield shatters. Iris is consumed by the flames, letting out a chilling scream. Ku watches in terror, questioning if this is his end. He recalls his joyless past, where he welcomed death. Thoughts of friends who embraced him in this world flood his mind. He shouts that he refuses to die. He wants to live. He resolves to return to the home he has built. The ring of spirits on his finger begins to shine brightly. Its ancient inscription hints at a blessing for the dragon's challenger. He realizes he has fulfilled all conditions to unlock its power. A surge of pure holy energy floods his being, a final glimmer of hope. As the flames encircle him, his eyes widen as a new power awakens. His magic power gauge shatters its limits, soaring to an unimaginable figure. Confused by the chaos, he realizes this is his moment to seize victory. With a thunderous battle cry, he releases a massive beam of blinding white energy. Holy light bursts from his sword, casting brightness over the shadowy battlefield. His strike collides with the black dragon's wave of cataclysmic flames. Ku channels all his newfound power into the overwhelming surge. The black dragon bellows, countering his force with its own devastating fury. The holy light prevails, enveloping the dragon's head in its radiance. The calamity howls in pain as the divine energy rips it apart. The beam forces the enormous dragon back across the ravaged terrain. Its cursed dark scales disintegrate under the purifying brilliance. The dragon's body crashes into the ground in a catastrophic explosion. A single enormous claw digs into the earth as it struggles to rise. The severely injured creature raises its head, emitting a faint growl. It gathers its final reserves of strength for one last desperate assault. With a fierce roar, Cooper prepares to confront the beast head-on. He holds his ground as the black dragon lunges to strike. With a powerful leap, Ko swings his sword for the decisive strike. He soars through the air, his blade aimed straight at the dragon's neck. The dragon-slaying demon sword slices effortlessly through the creature's flesh and bone. The black dragon's head is severed from its body, darkness spraying everywhere. The enormous headless carcass finally crashes to the ground, vanquished. Kao stands panting, sweat trickling down his brow. The battle is finally over. He surveys the devastation and quietly claims his victory. A vision reveals the black dragon incinerating a city in the distant past. The survivors of that ancient civilization prayed for 3 days straight. They beseeched for a hero from the future, a transferred soul to arrive. Now, their 4,000-year-old wish has been granted by the one who rescued them. Days later, a grand victory celebration erupts in the streets of Oaken. Merchant Chrome raises a toast to Kao and Iris for their heroic deeds. The entire town roars in agreement, lifting their mugs to honor their heroes. Adventurers cheer for the legendary Bear Slayer, now the Dragon Slayer. They surround Ko, urging him to drink up. He's the hero of the day. He revels with the friends he's made, laughing and toasting. As the vibrant celebration begins to wind down, night descends on the town. A familiar voice greets Ku as he and Iris share a peaceful moment. Ku turns to see the warm, beaming face of the merchant, Chrome. Chrome expresses gratitude for saving the city, claiming Ku exceeds his expectations. Ku modestly downplays his role, attributing his success to sheer luck. He reflects quietly on the series of events that led to his triumph. The notion that failure was just one stroke of bad luck away is unsettling. Chrome reminds Ku of the wisdom he shared when they first crossed paths. He explains the distinction between possessing a skill and wielding it effectively. By using his abilities for good, Chrome elaborates, fate aligned with him. Who wonders if that implies luck is a component of one's strength? Chrome concurs, stating Ku's actions summoned miracles and led to victory. He encourages Kao to embrace confidence, looking forward to his future. Ku softly repeats Chrome's words, allowing the idea to resonate. A gentle, assured smile of self-acceptance spreads across his face. He realizes he is finally beginning to grasp his own value. The following day, Iris stands by a fountain in the town square, waiting. Ku shows up in his old business attire, halting in surprise. Iris, in a lovely white sundress, appears slightly self-conscious. Her face lights up with a joyful smile when she spots him. She welcomes him, expressing excitement for their date, and he nods in agreement. He praises her, mentioning how the dress transforms her appearance. They step into a restaurant and are led to a secluded booth. During dinner, Ku observes that her words echo their last conversation. Iris thinks back to how that talk saved everyone in Okan. She confesses that the Black Dragon was a fearsome enemy she dreads facing again. Ku reminds her that other threats exist beyond the Black Dragon. He jokes that next time, he'll use his new ability to make the dragon fight. Iris gasps, taken aback by his casual mention of a new skill. She inquires if he has acquired yet another powerful ability. He clarifies that defeating the dragon leveled him up and granted a new skill. Now, he can summon any calamity he has vanquished by consuming magic energy. Iris quips that with such power, he might be the real calamity. He chuckles, insisting he's just an average, good-hearted human. Shifting topics, he mentions seeing Amelia on his way here. He informs Iris that Amelia is being reassigned to the guild headquarters. He adds that they will receive accolades in the capital for slaying the dragon. Iris is taken aback, and Ku remarks that life is full of surprises. She agrees, stating she never envisioned this when she departed her homeland 5 years ago. Ku listens closely, sensing there's more to her tale. Iris discloses that in the realm of the Dragonkin, she was always an outcast. With a serious demeanor, Ku asks if he can learn the reason behind it. She shares that she had a twin sister named Phyllis. Her sister, she explains, also had the Maiden of the Dragon God ability. Ku is astonished, asking if that skill wasn't supposed to be extremely rare. Iris clarifies that she had spearmanship, while her sister Phyllis had prophetic dreams. Phyllis's prophecies were over 90% accurate, making her the true maiden. Ku listens in solemn silence as Iris shares her painful history. The two sisters were raised in the shrine, but Iris was merely a backup. Her expression darkens as she recalls the events from when she was 15. Monsters attacked the shrine, resulting in her sister Phaelus's death. At 16, she departed her home with guards to fulfill the maiden's duty, but they were ambushed, leaving her heartbroken and utterly alone. Now she understands why she chose the path of an adventurer. Iris sips her wine, finally having shared her difficult story. She smiles at Ku, grateful for his support in completing her mission. Ku gazes at her with deep empathy, recognizing the burden she bore. He asks what her plans are now that her long mission has concluded. She turns the question back to him, curious about his future aspirations. He shares his intention to travel the world and explore its wonders. A soft, hopeful look graces Iris's face as she listens. She asks if he would consider taking her along on his journey. He cautions that it might just be dull sightseeing, but she insists it will be enjoyable. A warm smile spreads across his face as he agrees to her request. He notes how much she has changed, and she quietly concedes that maybe she has. Iris gazes into the distance, contemplating her challenging past. She remembers feeling utterly isolated, with no one to turn to for support. She surprises him by declaring she's no longer in despair, all thanks to him. Her voice carries a fresh sense of optimism as she continues. A flashback reveals Ku rescuing her from the terrifying black spider. She radiates joy, expressing how grateful she is to have crossed paths with him. Ku glances back at her, his smile warm and full of understanding. The full moon casts a brilliant glow over the starry night sky. Outside, a flustered Iris hides her face, questioning what's the matter. She pleads with him to disregard her earlier heartfelt admission. She blames the wine, but he teasingly claims he was too tipsy to recall. She looks up hurt, asking if he's joking. He calmly affirms. A close-up shows Ku's mischievous grin. He's just playing with her. He proposes they stroll a bit longer, and she shyly consents. In a tender moment, he gently takes Iris's hand. Both are slightly taken aback by the sudden closeness. A silent understanding flows between the two adventurers. Iris breaks the quiet with a stunning, accepting smile. Ku gazes at her fondly, delighted to see her so happy. Sunlight filters through the trees, signaling the dawn of a new adventure. Now clad in armor, Ku enjoys the tranquil forest alongside Iris. In a sunlit glade, he proclaims that peace is the ultimate treasure. Iris calls out to Ku, catching his attention during their quiet stroll. She points to a pond, excitedly mentioning she spotted some mushrooms. As they approach the pond, Ku thanks her for helping him collect supplies. Iris smiles, saying she enjoys these activities simply because she wants to. Ku enthusiastically suggests they should apply to become an official party. He explains the rule that stands in their way. Their ranks are too mismatched. Iris reassures him, confident that an invitation from the capital will come soon. He takes her hand, vowing they'll form a party once he's promoted. She gazes at him with hope, asking if he truly intends to team up with her. He smiles warmly, affirming he'll accompany her on her journey. She flips her hair, beaming that being with him is always a joy. A pair of peculiar floating objects drift by in the woods. Ku halts, pondering if those odd objects might be monsters. Iris smiles, reassuring him that there's nothing to fear. She explains they are harmless, flying mushrooms that flee when approached. Ku realizes these strange mushrooms could be a new resource for his skills. Iris offers to block their escape, but Ku insists it's unnecessary. He crouches down, activating his powerful blessing of the God of Speed. A fierce gust of wind rushes past Iris as Ku disappears in an instant. She watches a streak of light dart through the trees, amazed by his speed. He reappears, proudly declaring he collected 56 mushrooms in just 2 seconds. They continue gathering materials by the tranquil pond for the remainder of the day. By evening, they stroll back through the bustling streets of Okan. A young woman's voice calls out, excusing herself, catching Ku's attention. She rushes up, introducing herself as a fan and eagerly requesting a handshake. Ku is flustered, completely taken aback by the unexpected attention. A young man then pleads with Ku to take him on as his apprentice. The owner of the Golden Pavilion offers the renowned Dragon Slayer complimentary food. A mother hopes her young son will grow up to be just like Ku. The cow feels slightly overwhelmed, commenting on his unyielding popularity. Melia notices the two adventurers as they near the guild. From a balcony, she waves joyfully, greeting Ku and Iris. She declares their timing is impeccable, brandishing 2 official invites. Ku inspects the letter, realizing the ceremony is set for next month. Millie shares that Chrome's company will manage all their travel plans. He thinks of Crom, the generous merchant who first assisted him. Iris inquires if Melia will attend the ceremony, and she eagerly agrees. Milius mentions she has business in the capital, so they'll meet there. She urges them to relish the journey and explore along the way. Ku and Iris exchange smiles, thrilled about their upcoming adventure. That night, Ku gazes at the full moon, contemplating the royal capital. Alone in a field, he stares at the distant mountains. He reflects on being out here to test a new creation. He raises his hand, showcasing a new ring that glows with energy. An info box reveals the Ring of the Flame Dragon Emperor, crafted for Ku. A flash of light signals that the ring has granted him a new ability. He realizes that not everyone can wield magic in this realm. He understands that a skill linked to the element is essential. The new skill is Flame Emperor, the pinnacle of fire magic. He raises his hand, ready to test his newfound magical prowess. He yells Fire Arrow as a burst of flame shoots from his palm. The fiery bolt crashes into a tree's base with tremendous force. Instantly, the tree is enveloped in a swirling inferno. As the flames subside, Ku comments on the spell's convenience. He notes in surprise that only the targeted tree was scorched. He wonders if he can manipulate the spell's area of effect. He aims at a patch of grass, commanding the spell to ignite a specific radius. Focusing, he forms a ball of fire in his palm. A massive ring of fire ignites in the distance, perfectly controlled. The flames quickly diminish, and Ku is awed by the power. He's thrilled by the new tactical possibilities this power offers. A sudden rustling from the nearby bushes catches him off guard. A pair of white rabbit ears pop up from the tall grass. A horde of muscular punch rabbits appears, ready to battle. The rabbits emit a series of high-pitched, aggressive squeaks. They leap toward him, and he sees them as ideal test subjects. He unleashes a barrage of precisely aimed fire arrows to eliminate them. Tiny jets of flame hit each rabbit squarely in the chest. The entire horde collapses, defeated in an instant. He notes that by targeting their hearts, he preserved their valuable pelts. A notification confirms he has reached level 92, boosting his stats. He glances at his status screen, recognizing his extraordinary power. Finally, he uses the mushrooms to craft one last item for the night. He holds up a flying potion that grants 30 minutes of flight. Curious about flying, he brings the potion to his lips. He is taken aback by the delightful taste, reminiscent of fine Japanese sake. His feet lift off the ground as he begins to ascend into the air. A look of pure joy spreads across his face as he exclaims, "I'm floating!" Ku gazes up at the starry night sky, deciding to soar higher. With a gentle whoosh, he lifts off the ground. He soars upward, a solitary figure vanishing into the shadows. His eyes widen in astonishment as he hovers effortlessly. Suddenly, he finds himself floating in the cosmos, surrounded by dazzling stars. In sheer wonder, he whispers at the breathtaking view. A serene smile spreads across his face, illuminated by starlight. He spends some time experimenting with different flying techniques. He relishes the unmatched freedom until the potion's effects fade. Just after midnight, he returns to his opulent room on the calm moon. Suddenly, he recalls the new recipe he unlocked from the punch rabbits. He conjures a sparkling white t-shirt with incredible special effects. He joyfully rubs the delightfully soft fabric against his cheek. Before slipping under the covers, he changes into the new shirt. He drifts into slumber, a tranquil, content smile on his face. As the scene fades, the final text wishes everyone a good night. The following day, Ku and Iris return to the underground city. A lively crowd of cheerful caretaker slimes rushes to greet them. Iris remarks on the pleasant atmosphere as the joyful slimes gather. Suddenly, the slimes freeze, confusion etched on their faces. In unison, they cry out, asking if their beloved master is departing. Ko confirms he will be leaving Oaken and won't return for a while. He reassures the sorrowful slimes that he will eventually come back. One slime expresses a wish to join, but is tied to the city. A system prompt suggests rewriting the city's controls to permit it. Ku decisively instructs the system to proceed, surprising Iris. The selected slime begins to glow with a warm, magical aura. It asks the master what's happening as warmth envelops its body. Cow explains that the system is updating to allow it outside. Excitedly, the slime asks if it can truly accompany the master. It jumps for joy, cheering that it can be his companion. Ku decides his new travel buddy needs a name. Iris proposes a simple name, but Ku finds it a bit dull. He doesn't mind naming it after its species, though. He smiles, agreeing with the general idea of her suggestion. Kneeling down, he asks the slimes how they feel about the name Slara. The chosen slime blushes, joyfully repeating its delightful new name. Slara proudly announces its new name, thanking the master for the gift. The system update seems to induce a temporary drowsiness. Slara and its friends suddenly feel sleepy and drift off together. Coom notes it's just like a computer rebooting after an update. Once awake, Slara declares it has a surprise for the master. Another slime, surprised, asks if Slara overheard their chat. Ku and Iris admit they were speaking loudly, so it's no shock. Slara eagerly invites them to see something in the city's warehouse. Ko and Iris are pulled along by the enthusiastic, determined slime. They discover several large, futuristic carriages lined up in the warehouse. Slara explains these are ancient carriages, each with a unique design. It points out one carriage equipped with a kitchen. Another features 2 fluffy beds, while a third is even 2 stories high. Iris thinks it would be amazing if they could combine them all. Slara encourages the master to repurpose the carriages for crafting. He contemplates the fresh recipe that just popped into his head. He realizes his course of action and consents to the proposal. He lifts his hand, poised to embark on his grandest creation yet. He channels his energy, commanding his crafting abilities to commence. A stunning, shimmering new carriage appears right before them. It's the Grand Cabin, a lavish 2-story mobile residence. Ku and Iris are in awe of the enormous and impressive vehicle. This achievement boosts his crafting skill, adding a formidable new feature. He discovers he can now create items from within his item box. He proposes they step inside, with Iris noting she's never seen such a carriage. He clicks the door open, both of them gazing in wonder. They enter a sparkling contemporary living area with a cozy sofa. Iris and Slara are astonished by the softness and comfort of the furniture. Ku then leads them to the spacious and elegantly furnished dining area. Adjacent to it is a fully equipped modern kitchen. He mentions that there are 2 bedrooms located on the upper floor. Iris is thrilled to find it even includes a toilet and a bathtub. Cal comments that it's suitable enough to be a home, and Iris concurs. Iris then questions how they will transport such a heavy carriage. Ku simply responds with a confident smirk, as if he knows something. Outside, Ku stands before the Grand Cabin ready to unveil his plan. He summons his formidable ally with a dazzling flash of light. The ground trembles as the colossal figure materializes instantly. The destroyer golem appears, saluting and awaiting its master's orders. Ku greets his golem warmly, exclaiming, "Hey there, Destu!" He inquires if Dest would be willing to pull their enormous new carriage. He asks if Dest can merge with the Grand Cabin. With a series of loud metallic clangs, the transformation starts. The Grand Destroyer Golem emerges from the powerful fusion. The golem integrates with the carriage, significantly boosting its power. Iris exclaims about its speed, and Ku agrees they'll reach their destination quickly. A map outlines their leisurely 9-day journey to Fort Port. In the 5 days leading up to departure, Ku bids farewell in Okan. He spends time tidying and packing his room at the inn. He also ensures he has enough supplies and food for the trip. 3 days later, a letter arrives addressed to Kukusaka-sama. He holds the wax-sealed letter, realizing it must be from Relic. Relic's letter reveals that the Lord of Maynard is in Surrey, who uses the fact that the Lord is recovering from an illness. He had been curious why the Lord remained inactive during the crisis. He visits Relic, who also expressed concern over the Lord's absence. Relic congratulates him and mentions they'll meet at the ceremony. Howe considers the possibility of meeting the Lord during his stop in Surrey. The next day, Ko strolls through Oaken's Market searching for a book. He browses the shelves of a local bookstore for a travel guide. He exits the store happily, having found exactly what he needed. He halts abruptly, surprised by a familiar face on the street. It's Milia, carrying a hefty bag and a tall stack of books. Milia's foot slips on the bookstore floor, letting out a startled yelp. The hefty pile of books she was holding crashes to the ground. In a flurry of panic, she lunges forward as the books start to spill. A figure zooms past her in a swift blur. Milia glances up, her face a portrait of astonished disbelief. Ku stands there, having effortlessly caught every book, asking if she's okay. She gasps, recognizing him, and calls out his name in shock. Ku walks alongside her, carrying the towering stack of books to her residence. Once inside, she expresses her gratitude and insists on rewarding him. Ku beams at her, saying there's no need since she always helps him. As she persists, Ku inquires if she plans to attend the ceremony in the capital. He proposes that she could repay him by showing him the city's highlights. Milia is taken aback, questioning if he's truly confident in her choices. With a confident thumbs up, she agrees to organize the ultimate tour. Ku grins, thinking his time in the capital will be quite intriguing. On departure day, the people of Oaken gather to cheer for them. A stunning bouquet of roses is presented in honor of Ko and Iris. Milia hands Ku the flowers, wishing him and Iris a safe trip. As they prepare to leave, Iris asks Ku if they're ready. With a bright smile, Ku affirms, saying he's counting on her. Thus, their group departs from Okan, embarking on their grand adventure. Along the way, they reunite with Slara, their slime companion. Slara is thrilled with the hat Iris gifted it, believing it will avoid misunderstandings. The cheerful slime greets their golem driver, asking for its name. The golem hesitates, realizing it has never been named. Iris cheerfully suggests a few playful names for their mighty companion. Ko proposes the name Dest, which the golem accepts with a loud roar. With their group complete and named, they continue their journey peacefully. A map illustrates their path from Okan to their destination, A. Cow peruses a guidebook, eager to try 2 renowned meat restaurants. He reflects on how long it's been since he could unwind with a book. He shares with Iris how his previous life was a relentless grind. The grand cabin glides smoothly beneath a serene, partly cloudy sky. Suddenly, Slara's voice calls out to the master, pulling him from his thoughts. Ko realizes he must have dozed off, but is glad to hear they're nearing. In the distance, the sturdy walls of Tway come into sight. Their grand carriage rumbles toward the town gate, greeted by a line of soldiers. Iris observes the large crowd, finding the tense atmosphere odd for a welcome. He watches as a soldier approaches, wondering if a monster has shown up. He greets the soldier politely while Iris stands beside him, taking in the scene. The soldier asks if he is Kaukusaka, the famed dragon slayer, and Ku confirms. The sudden seriousness of the situation puts both Cow and Iris on edge. A man suddenly bows before them, pleading with Ku to save the town. Kobe feels a sense of dread, and Iris agrees that trouble is brewing. They are swiftly led into a room within the local adventurers guild. The man introduces himself as Poporo, the guild's branch manager, and apologizes. Kano requests him to calmly explain the situation, and Poporo nervously agrees. With a pained look, he begins to recount the events of the last hour. A monstrous S+ ranked devil trent has emerged on the nearby plains. The creature's regenerative abilities are immense, threatening to obliterate the town. Poporo explains that a traveling priestess is currently keeping the monster at bay. The attack came out of nowhere, leaving no chance for escape or defense preparation. He begs Cow, the hero who vanquished a calamity, to take down the Treon. Ku briefly shuts his eyes, contemplating the seriousness of the request. He opens them and consents to assist, bringing great relief to Buporo. Kuthian raises a hand requesting to make a single amendment. He clarifies that he didn't defeat the Black Dragon alone. Iris fought alongside him. Iris is taken aback by the unexpected compliment, pointing to herself in bewilderment. Slara proudly affirms that Iris protected the master from the dragon's fire. Paporto realizes his error and acknowledges it. He then implores both Ko and Iris to rescue the town of Tway. The grand cabin speeds across the plains, racing toward the looming danger. Slara questions why they are riding atop the carriage instead of inside. Iris explains that seeing the battlefield firsthand is more effective. She offers a small, confident smile, ready for the impending battle. She turns to Ko, expressing gratitude for his earlier words at the guild. She clarifies that he was referring to her part in the fight against the Black Dragon. Ku gazes at her warmly, saying it's because she is a valued companion. Iris is visibly moved by his words, her expression softening. She raises her shield, declaring she will take charge of the defense this time too. Suddenly, Slara spots something in the distance, capturing everyone's attention. A single massive tree looms ominously on the horizon, dominating the view. Who stares at the distant behemoth, his expression hardening? The Devil Trent, a gigantic malevolent tree creature, is bound by ethereal chains. Who ponders the large glowing chains encircling the beast? Iris identifies them as celestial chains, a high-level light magic. Cow realizes the traveling priest Baporo mentioned must possess incredible skill. Slara shouts a warning, pointing out that the chains are about to break. The Devil Trent strains violently against its magical bindings. With a tremendous display of strength, the monster begins to shatter its restraints. The glowing links of the celestial chains snap and dissolve into light. Ko points ahead, urging Iris to witness the unfolding events. A solitary small figure in white robes stands before the now unbound monster. The priestess stands firm, her magical energy waning. The massive devil Trent towers over her, free and furious. The young priestess looks up, her face pale from exhaustion and strain. She clutches her chest, her final reserves of strength finally giving out. She collapses to the ground, her magic completely depleted. Ku shouts an urgent command to Dest, instructing it to retrieve the priestess. The golem acknowledges and speeds up, racing to the rescue in a cloud of dust. The devil Trent raises its enormous branch-like hand to crush the fallen girl. Death snatches her from the ground just as the monster's strike would have landed. Ku takes the girl from the golem, reassuring Iris that she is safe now. He gazes down at the unconscious girl, worry etched on his face. Holding her, he is shocked to realize she is still just a child. The devil Trent emits a thunderous roar, shifting its focus to them. Iris unleashes a fierce battle cry, bracing herself for the impending attack. The monster's powerful strike crashes into her shimmering energy shield. The barrier stands strong against the overwhelming force of the Trent's assault. How Holding the priestess praises Iris for her outstanding defense. Iris confidently assures her master that the rescued girl is in her capable hands. Their slime ally Solara groans, signaling that it's about to expand. Solara suddenly swells to an enormous size, confused about what's happening. Cow focuses on the girl's safety, instructing Solara to gently place her on a bed. Iris hurries back to the carriage, greeting Ku and checking if he's all right. She claims this is preferable to the dragon battle, yet urges him to rest. Cow commands their golem driver, Dest, to speed away from the devil Trent. The enormous gull-powered carriage races across the plains, stirring up dust. They manage to create a significant gap between themselves and the threatening beast. Cow feels they are now far enough to initiate their counteroffensive. In a flash of dazzling light, Ku calls forth his legendary sword, Graham. He grips the shimmering dragon-slaying demon sword ready for the impending fight. With a confident grin, he tells the monster he has a little gift for it. He lets out a fierce battle cry, gearing up to unleash a devastating strike. He activates the War God's Decisive Strikes Plus skill with a powerful swing. The colossal blade of energy soars across the field, striking the Trent. The attack cleanly severs one of the monster's massive root-like legs. The devil Trent emits a guttural roar filled with pure, unfiltered pain. The severed limb crashes down, causing the monster to stagger. Yet, new tendrils quickly sprout from the wound, knitting back together. In mere seconds, the leg is fully restored, and the Trent stands tall once more. Ku is taken aback by the instant regeneration of the leg. Iris notes its astonishing power. The enraged monster shakes its leafy canopy, gearing up for a counterattack. Iris urgently warns Ku to be cautious of the incoming branches. With another roar, the Trent launches a barrage of wooden projectiles. A lethal storm of sharp spear-like branches hurtles toward them. The ring of the flame, Emperor on Ku's finger, sparkles with power. He confidently asserts that not a single branch will come near them. He releases a fire arrow, sending a torrent of flames from his hand. The fiery projectiles streak through the sky to intercept the wooden spears. The fire arrows collide with the branches, creating a dazzling, deadly light display. Iris gazes at the spectacle, whispering about its beauty. Ku observes his handiwork with a small, satisfied smirk. Iris inquires when he learned magic. He cheerfully responds that it was just recently. Iris mentions his fire magic simplifies things, but asks if something's wrong. She explains there are two methods to defeat the monster, the first being attrition. Ku realizes this implies a prolonged battle of attack and retreat. He eagerly asks her what the second method is. She proposes a swift battle using fire magic to incinerate its head. Iris advocates for the second option, and Ku agrees it's the best choice. A longer battle raises the risk of unforeseen complications. Ku wonders where the head is, while Iris suggests targeting the face. He grasps the plan, but notes the Trent is too large to approach closely. Ku summons a pouch from his item box, catching Iris off guard. He explains it's a flying potion made from mushrooms that grants flight. Iris comprehends his strategy, teasing him about his impressive tricks. Just as Ku is about to depart, Iris tells him to hold on. She grabs his arm, insisting that she will accompany him. She proposes he handle the offense while she manages defense. Ku smiles, agreeing with her strategy and telling her to hang on tight. He tilts his head back and downs the entire flying potion in one gulp. His abilities ensure that Iris will be part of the potion's effect. Their feet leave the ground as the potion's magic takes effect. They soar through the air together, abandoning the carriage. Iris confesses it feels odd, and Ku inquires if she's afraid. She gazes at him with a warm grin, assuring him she's okay because he's by her side. Her unwavering trust brings a soft smile to Ko's lips, who instructs Desk to secure the carriage in a safe spot. The golem salutes, wishing its master luck for the upcoming battle. Kao remarks, "Well then," as they glide toward their target, ready for combat. They close in, getting within the range of his fire arrow. The Devil Trent emits a furious, threatening roar. Sensing their murderous intent, it lunges forward to strike. Ku and Iris are taken aback by the creature's swift assault. The Trent swings its enormous arm, having detected their lethal intent. Its massive, branch-like arms come crashing down with tremendous force. Iris raises her shield, vowing not to let it through. The arm crashes into her magical barrier, creating a dazzling flash. With the attack blocked, Iris urgently shouts for Ku to act now. He acknowledges her, the ring on his finger beginning to shine. A gigantic magic circle materializes around them as he aims for the Trent's head. Iris yells that she is dropping the protective barrier. With a fierce shout, Ku unleashes his ultimate move, Go Fire Arrow. A massive torrent of searing flames erupts from his position. The inferno completely engulfs the Devil Trent's head in a fiery column. The monster emits a final, earth-shattering roar of pure pain. The shockwave from the colossal explosion sends Ko and Iris flying back. The sheer force of the blast utterly incinerates the monster's head. They hover in the air, observing the charred remains of their enemy. The headless body crumples, and Ku declares the subjugation finished. Meanwhile, in the grand cabin, the young priestess rests soundly in bed. Iris keeps a watchful eye on her, relieved to see no serious injuries. Ku and Iris gaze down at the sleeping girl, a sense of tranquility returning. Ko points to the girl's robes, questioning the unusual emblem on them. Iris recognizes it as the symbol of the war god, Woden. Suddenly, she realizes something, her eyes widening in astonishment. She notes that the sword on the crest resembles Ku's sword, Graham. Dest's voice announces their arrival at the North Gate. A large crowd has gathered to express their gratitude. A burly adventurer approaches, asking if he is the dragon slayer, Kukusaka. Kao, slightly flustered, confirms that he is indeed the one. The adventurer leader surveys the crowd, curious about the excitement. He explains that they formed a suicide squad to assist. Kao sheepishly informs them that the Devil Trent has already been vanquished. The adventurer beams, thanking Kao sincerely. The adventurer bellows for the crowd to celebrate their great benefactor. The grateful crowd hoists Ku into the air, carrying him toward the guild hall. Cal reports the battle's outcome to the guild's branch manager, Poporo. Poporo expresses gratitude, stating the town would have been lost without him. Ku humbly replies that he couldn't have succeeded without his companion's support. The guildmaster, Poporo, tells Ku that he is truly a modest individual. He keeps mentioning those with great power while staying mindful of others. Poporo determines that Ku truly exemplifies the traits of a genuine hero. With the crisis in 2 behind them, the heroes can finally take a breather. Kao steps into the room, cautious after the day's turmoil. Iris welcomes him with a grin, inquiring about his debriefing. She clarifies that the rescued priestess is simply worn out and sound asleep. With everything resolved, Coop suggests they should finally grab dinner. Iris and Solara cheer, with Iris exclaiming she's absolutely famished. They make their way to a vibrant area known as Meat Street for their meal. Their dinner features an extravagant array of steak, bread, and fine wine. All 3 companions agree that the food is exceptionally tasty. Ku confesses he thought they were finished when the Devil Trin showed up. The restaurant owners join them, grateful that the Dragon Slayer saved their town. The cow sips his wine, realizing being the town's hero isn't so bad. After a fulfilling meal, they return to their inn for the night. Ku unwinds in a hot bath, contemplating sightseeing for the next day. The following morning, Solara is still peacefully asleep in a cozy bed. Ku rises early with plenty of time before meeting Iris. He decides to utilize his skills on the remains of the defeated Devil Trance. He disassembles the monster, realizing he can create a new material. A brilliant magic circle illuminates as he initiates the synthesis. He forges a branch of Yggdrasil, imbued with immense divine power. The name rings a bell from mythology, and he marvels at the sacred branch. Solara stirs from sleep behind him, waking up on the bed. The slime cheerfully greets Ku with a bright good morning, and he reciprocates. Ku ponders what morning rituals a slime might have. He peeks into the bathroom, spotting Slara in front of the mirror. The slime flexes its gelatinous arms, wearing a determined look. It strikes a confident pose, admiring its own reflection. Ku smiles as Slara joyfully announces it's perfectly round today. After their morning routines, the group sets off towards South Tawai. The lively city of North Tway gives way to expansive open fields. Slara is ecstatic at the sight of cows and sheep grazing on the farms. Iris shares an old saying about the town that fits it perfectly. They try their hand at sheep shearing, embracing the local experience. They also taste fresh cheese made right there on the farm. The farmers soon recognize the Dragon Slayer and express their heartfelt gratitude. An impromptu feast begins in their honor, celebrating their gratitude. As the sun sets, Ku and Iris gaze from the town wall. Iris teasingly asks how it feels to be Twain's hero. Ku smiles, admitting the warm reception was entirely unexpected. Iris points out that the town's rich history was preserved because of him. He realizes he safeguarded not just a town, but its entire legacy. Later, Kao visits the guild to check on the young priestess. He discovers she had urgent matters and left a letter for him. The letter is addressed to Kao, containing a message of gratitude. It explains she arrived to assist after sensing the Devil Trance's presence. She signs it as Riri Runa Runaria, vowing to thank him in person. As they stroll, Ku suggests they find something to eat. They decide to sample the local specialty, the indulgent Niku Niku sandwich. Iris is fascinated by the idea of using meat in place of bread. They unanimously agree that the sandwich is a truly remarkable and tasty creation. Ku announces their upcoming stop is Surrey, known for its hot springs. The mere thought of a hot spring ignites a wave of nostalgic joy. He beams, genuinely eager for the soothing experience ahead. They decide on an early start, planning to leave at 6 a.m. The following day, a large crowd gathers to bid them farewell as they depart Twer. The thankful townsfolk wish them well, vowing to remember them always. Inside the carriage, Slara has already drifted off into a deep sleep. Noticing Iris is also dozing, he looks for ways to pass the time. Spotting the lovely weather, he thinks of a way to enjoy the view. Their golem driver, Dest, feels his master's presence nearby. Ku perches on the desk's shoulder, relishing the fresh air during their journey. The sun beams down from a clear sky, making it a perfect day for travel. Something by the roadside catches his attention. He notices a solitary figure sitting quietly under a tree. As they approach, he recognizes the young priestess Riri. He requests the carriage to halt for a moment, and it complies. Ku hops down and strides toward the waiting girl. She verifies his identity, and he confirms he is indeed Ku. She introduces herself as Riri, expressing her gratitude for his help. He downplays it and inquires why she is out here alone. She explains she came specifically to express her thanks for his assistance. Her prophetic dream indicated precisely when he would pass by. He asks if she is following her dream's guidance, and she nods. She felt it would be disrespectful to disregard the dream's direction. He is struck by her remarkable sincerity and sense of responsibility. Riri calls out his name to regain his attention. Then she poses a very straightforward and serious question. Does he have the unique ability of a transferred individual? Ku is taken aback, but she clarifies her dream inspired the inquiry. He hesitates, pondering how to respond to such a complicated question. Riri reveals she possesses another ability, Maiden of the War God. She has a significant mission to complete and something to give him. The title Maiden of the War God resonates with Ku. He remembers Iris's task to deliver the Crimson Jewel to a transferred person. Back in the carriage, he wonders if Riri shares a similar fate. Riri explains her ability enables her to awaken the powers of holy artifacts. Iris notes the resemblance to her own ability, and Slara concurs. Slara mentions that ancient scholars believe the combination of their skills was extraordinary. Ku asks what makes it so remarkable, but Slara is unsure of the specifics. Riri clarifies that her role as the maiden consists of two parts. She reaches into a mystical storage space hidden within her robes. Ku and Slara watch in wide-eyed astonishment and anticipation. She retrieves a large ornate bow, a sacred artifact. Her first task is to present this bow to a transferred individual. Ku is amazed by the weapon's size, but she explains her robes are enchanted. Iris is in awe of the bow, and Riri affectionately calls her big sister. She is briefly taken aback by their unexpected sisterly connection. Riri explains that the war god's emblem illustrates his three sacred treasures. She verifies that the bow given to Ku is indeed the fabled bow of Yggdrasil. It's also known by another name, the sealed Calamity slang bow. Thrilled by the history, he stashes it away, pondering when its power might surface. Suddenly, Iris interjects, asking them to hold on for a moment. She clarifies that the bow is a revered artifact, questioning Riri's right to possess it. Riri responds calmly, asserting that it's her mission and she has the authority. She feels a sense of relief for completing one of her 2 tasks. Iris discloses that Riri's second task involves locating Graham, turning to Ku for information. Riri gasps as Coop nonchalantly reveals that Graham is right here. With a confident grin, Koost calls forth the magnificent sword meant for slaying dragons. Riri stares in utter disbelief at the astonishing sight before her. She admires its divine might, while Iris expresses her surprise that Ku already possessed it. Riri mentions her dream only showed her handing over the bow, prompting Iris to ask about the sword's origin. He explains he discovered it in the underground city, questioning if he should keep it. Riri smiles, entrusting the sword's care to him as part of her responsibilities. Iris observes them quietly, her expression thoughtful. She inquires about Riri's prophetic dream ability, which Riri confirms she has. Iris expresses her gratitude, a melancholic memory surfacing as she notes Riri resembles her. She understands Iris is referring to her twin sister Phyllis, who also had prophetic gifts. Slara asks Riri what her next steps will be now that her missions are done. Riri appears contemplative, her future suddenly feeling like a blank slate. She was instructed to protect the transferred individual, asking if she could accompany them. Ku, Iris, and Slara warmly welcome her into their group. A genuine, radiant smile spreads across Rere's face. Ku smiles back, officially welcomes Riri to their party. Overwhelmed with gratitude, she bows deeply, thanking him. Later that afternoon, the clock in the grand cabin ticks closer to lunchtime. Iris stirs from her seat, surveying the cozy interior. She holds a small plate, her expression slightly bemused. She catches Ku's attention as he sits engrossed in a book. She suggests it's time for lunch, and they agree to cook together. A bounty of fresh ingredients from Toy is spread out for their meal. Iris, Riri, and Slara eagerly volunteer to assist. Ku cheerfully announces the menu, a suggestion from his full assist skill. In the kitchen, Slara stirs a pot with expertise, clearly a natural at cooking. Iris chops vegetables skillfully, admitting she's become quite adept. However, Riri watches on with a nervous and uncertain look. She confesses it's her first time cooking, prompting Ku to offer his guidance. He suggests she start by cracking an egg, and she prepares with intense concentration. She gently taps the egg against the bowl's edge. Nothing happens, and she glances at her hand in confusion. She taps the egg again, this time with a bit more force. Still, the egg remains stubbornly whole, much to her astonishment. She declares she will crack it, as Ku tells her to take it easy. With both hands gripping the egg, her body shakes with effort. With a loud crunch, she crushes the egg completely, splattering it everywhere. Feeling dejected, she apologizes, but Ku just laughs and offers to assist. He gently guides her hand, demonstrating how to apply the right pressure. With a soft tap, the egg cracks perfectly, falling neatly into the bowl. Riri's face lights up with joy, exclaiming that she's a natural at this. Iris comments on how enjoyable it is to cook as a team. Ku swiftly flips an omelet in the pan, making quick progress. Before long, a beautifully arranged and tasty meal is ready. The 4 friends gather at the table, eager to dig into their feast. Iris takes a bite and declares Ku's cooking to be absolutely divine. She muses that he could easily run a hugely popular restaurant. Riri agrees, stating it's the most delicious meal she's ever had. She beams, adding that cracking the egg and flipping the omelet was a blast. Ku kindly asks Riri if she wants another serving. She hesitates, flustered, before politely turning him down. He gently urges her not to hold back, encouraging her to enjoy. Moved by his kindness, she accepts with a grateful smile, eyes glistening. After the delightful meal, everyone helps wash the dishes together. Later, Riri apologizes for her naivety, explaining her life revolved around her mission. Ku reassures her, acknowledging her serious demeanor. She seems a bit taken aback by his insight. She shares that her parents passed away young, and she grew up in a shrine. Ku and Iris encourage her to embrace life and have fun now. Riri smiles warmly, agreeing that maybe she will. Slara excitedly suggests that playing with it is a fun experience. Suddenly, Slara's face shifts to shock as the carrot trembles. The entire cabin shakes violently, throwing everyone off balance. Desk voice announces an earthquake and an emergency halt. The enormous golem-powered carriage screeches to a sudden stop. The jolt sends the poor slime soaring through the air with a yelp. It flips over, its eyes spinning in confusion. Ku's gloved hands reach out, expertly catching it mid-flight. He holds the slime, asking if it heard as it calls for its master. Relieved they were on level ground, he checks if everyone is okay. Rory commends his impressive catch, while Iris says she's mostly fine. Iris notes the earthquake's strength, pondering the bridge ahead. Ku peers out of the window, confirming a bridge lies on their path. He describes it as the Zato Great Bridge, an ancient crumbling structure. Iris frets that any damage could lead to a lengthy detour. Ku looks disappointed. His relaxing hot springs plans are at risk. The grand cabin's wheels finally stop just before the bridge. Desk, their ever-watchful driver, calls out to its master. A crowd of stranded travelers gathers at the bridge's entrance. A massive section of the iron bridge has crumbled into the ravine. An emergency has arisen, trapping travelers on both sides. Ku, Iris, and Riri realize crossing will be extremely challenging. He observes that the river's current is too swift. Iris suggests a flying potion. Ku glances at the other stranded travelers, having already considered that. The other travelers appear distressed, knowing a long detour is their only choice. Slara cheerfully tells the master it has a brilliant idea. It proposes he simply use his creation skill to fix the bridge. A smile forms on Ku's lips. He agrees it's worth a shot. He strides to the edge, confident his skill will yield a solution. Ku kneels, placing his hands on the fractured ground to start his work. Ku wears a confident grin, ready to face the daunting task ahead. At the chasm's brink, he channels the radiant energy of his creation ability. His fellow stranded travelers gawk, their expressions a mix of disbelief. In an instant, the Zato Great Bridge re-emerges, shining and flawless. He proudly mentions using the Devil Trench Trunk for the bridge's revival. A system notification reveals the bridge's impressive S-rank stats and abilities. Rary is astonished, realizing the tales of a transferred person's power are real. Holding Slara close, Rory proclaims that Master Ku resembles a deity. Their enormous golem-powered carriage glides effortlessly over the newly built bridge. As the dust settles, they finally reach the fortified hot springs town of Shuri. Inside the local garrison, they meet with a young guard for a debriefing. The guard expresses gratitude to Kao for his remarkable achievement, promising a reward. Kwa is taken aback, but the guard clarifies the bridge's crucial role in the area. He recalls that the Lord of Manor is rumored to be residing in Surrey. The guard retracts his statement, inquiring how Ku acquired this confidential information. He confirms the Lord is recuperating in secrecy and requests their discretion. Ko nods in agreement, and the guard bows deeply, thanking them for their understanding. Apologizing for the wait, the guardsman opens the door for their exit. He gestures grandly, officially welcoming them to the charming town of Surrey. He cheerfully informs them that their visit coincides with the town's 300th anniversary celebration. As they stroll through the lively streets, Ku comments on the vibrant, festive spirit. Iris observes that a 300-year celebration is bound to be a spectacular event. Slar explains that Surrey was constructed atop the remnants of an ancient city. The slime adds that the town's hot springs are fueled by ancient, active facilities. Ku admires Slara's knowledge, while Riri praises her valuable slime. Deciding to indulge, Ku insists they must sample all the local specialties. They soon receive a churro navate, a steaming, fragrant hot pot. Iris, Slara, and Riri gaze at the delectable dish, their eyes shining. Ku savour the rich stew, finding it reminiscent of a French pot-au-feu. Iris agrees, noting that the soup is exquisite, brimming with chicken flavor. Riri and Slara happily dig into the warm, comforting meal. After devouring 6 servings, the thoroughly satisfied group heads to their inn. Later that evening, Ku relaxes alone in a luxurious open-air bath. He feels deeply rejuvenated and at ease in the top-tier Gosei Inn. In the nearby bath, Iris and Riri agree that the water feels delightful. Kao resolves to fully enjoy the festival with everyone the next day. However, Slara starts to feel quite odd in the steaming hot water. With a startled cry, the poor slime fears it's beginning to dissolve. The following day, the festival kicks off with the sound of celebratory fireworks. Iris excitedly points out the many food stalls offering the local hot pot. Who notices the diverse menus, asking Riri which one she wants to try. He sees that Riri is distracted, her expression distant and unfocused. She suddenly snaps back to reality, a bead of sweat forming on her brow. Ku inquires if something's amiss, but she quickly brushes it off. Nervously wringing her hands, she hesitates before attempting to explain. She admits that her prophetic dream skill activated the previous night. Ku and Iris are intrigued, asking her what kind of dream she experienced. She describes a vision of Kao receiving a trumpet in a crowded setting. But Hao finds the vision odd. Iris agrees that it's rather enigmatic. Riri continues, painting a picture of Kao holding a glowing branch by a fountain. Ko is baffled, pondering what he would even do with the Yggdrasil branch. Riri bows her head, reflecting on the dream's final, most perplexing segment. She witnessed their entire group departing Surrey, heading northwest. Ko is baffled since their next stop lies in the opposite direction. He consults his map, confirming that northwest leads only to dense forests and towering mountains. Iris inquires if Riri's dreams are typically more straightforward, and Slara adds her thoughts. The slime clarifies that prophecies often blur around influential figures like Kao. Iris concurs, pointing out Ku's remarkable talent for acquiring skills like flight. Hu ponders whether this implies the future is malleable, not predetermined. Iris proposes they attempt to realize the prophecy, beginning with the trumpet. Cal speculates that his abilities might enable him to play it, despite his lack of experience. Riri beams with a small smile, pleased they are taking her seriously. Kao gathers the group, suggesting they first indulge in the festival's food stalls. They discover a stall offering a delicious tway beef oxtail soup. Another stall presents a unique dessert hot pot filled with stewed fruits. They learn the fruit dessert is generously soaked in red wine. Iris and Riri savor the food, while Slara quickly becomes joyfully intoxicated. The unfortunate slime soon turns green, feeling extremely ill from the alcohol. Iris checks on Slara's well-being, and Ku sighs, saying it can't be avoided. He produces an antidote potion and administers it to the suffering slime. Slara recovers instantly, expressing gratitude to the master for the wonderful potion. A guardsman invites them to join an ancient-style lottery game. He cheerfully hands Ko a card for the game. Ko is taken aback. The card is for bingo, a game from his previous life. The guard explains it's a numerical game from an ancient civilization. Ko can't believe it, realizing it's the exact same game he remembers. Displayed prizes include a cruise ticket and, just as foretold, a trumpet. Ku and Iris share a knowing glance. The dream is unfolding. They eagerly agree to play, excited to test the limits of Riri's prophecy. A man dressed as a clown announces the main event's commencement. Ku and his friends settle into their seats, cards ready. Iris recognizes the clown as the friendly guardsman they encountered earlier. The clown enthusiastically spins the lottery wheel, kicking off the game. He draws the first ball, declaring the number 29. Riri checks her card, but sadly she doesn't have that number. Ku grins, noting that 29 matches his current age. The number 29 on his card starts to vibrate and emit a glow. He stares in disbelief as the tab for that number punches itself out. The clown chuckles, revealing he rigged everyone's cards with his skill. He reassures them not to worry and to enjoy the thrilling game. The clown announces that the second half of the game will be quite thrilling. The game progresses, and Ray joyfully calls out the next number, 61. As more numbers are drawn, Ku's card steadily fills up. The clown announces that nearly all the numbers have been called. Ku stands, raising his hand and declaring he has a reach. The clown wonders if he'll win the second-place trumpet prize. From the crowd, another voice claims they have a reach as well. A young woman with a long ponytail raises her card. It's Kiru. The clown is taken aback to see Kao's acquaintance Kiaru also participating. Karu smiles, reminding him she's the adventurer he teamed up with for a town quest. The festival's bingo host points at Cal and his companion, announcing a fateful showdown. Even with multiple numbers called, neither Kun nor Iris manages to score a bingo, leaving Iris visibly frustrated. The host theatrically unveils the next number, showcasing a disc labeled 87. Ku glances at his card, realizing he needed an 88 and has missed out on the grand prize. Out of nowhere, a peculiar sound signals a surge of dark energy. Ku stares at his bingo card, utterly perplexed. A dazzling flash of light bursts forth with a loud pop. The last spot on Ku's card is mysteriously marked. He suddenly understands he's won. Karu jumps up from behind, excitedly exclaiming that she has also emerged victorious. The host proclaims to the jubilant crowd that there are two winners. On stage, the host clarifies that with only one grand prize, the two victors must make a choice. Kiaru gazes longingly at the image of the cruise ship. the top prize. He understands her longing, offering a gentle, knowing smile. He suggests she take the second-place trumpet, leaving Kiaro speechless. Kao mentions he's already bound for the capital, encouraging her to take the cruise ticket. The host presents the grand prize to an overjoyed Kiryu, who can hardly believe her luck. Radiating happiness, Kiaru turns to Ku, expressing heartfelt thanks. The host announces it's time for Ku, the runner-up, to claim his reward. Kyoru instructs Ku to extend his hands, initiating a magical countdown. With a shout, a burst of smoke and confetti erupts from between Ku's hands. As the smoke dissipates, Ko playfully winks at the audience. To his astonishment, a magnificent trumpet has magically appeared in his grasp. The festival crowd erupts in applause, captivated by the unexpected display of magic. In the audience, Iris gazes down at her losing bingo card, letting out a disappointed sigh. Kuri joins his friends, joking that the prizes weren't worth taking too seriously. Karu approaches Ku, concerned that she might have pressured him into taking the trumpet. Kuri reassures her that it's perfectly fine since he's heading to the capital anyway. He smiles, adding that he's not incapable of playing the instrument. Cal quietly raises the trumpet to his lips as his friends observe. He shuts his eyes and a beautiful, clear note resonates through the air. A cascade of glowing musical notes flows gracefully from the trumpet's bell. Iris and Riri listen closely, entranced by the mesmerizing melody. Kao performs for the festival, the crowd, including Kiaru, watching in awe. Slayer identifies the piece as Sasan Slumber, an incredibly challenging ancient composition. His friends are astonished by the beautiful music, questioning if Kao excels at everything. Little do they know, it's not just his talent, but the strength of his full assist skill. After the spontaneous concert, the group gathers by a fountain in the town square. Carrie waves goodbye, announcing she has a lunch date with her grandmother. The party waves back as she departs, bidding their friend farewell. A formal voice inquires if he is Kukusaka, prompting Ku to turn around. He spots an elderly nobleman in a female nightgown approaching him. The man introduces himself as Randolph D. Maynard, Lord of the Territory. He recognizes the name and notes the Lord's visibly poor health. Lord Maynard commends Ku's actions but is suddenly seized by a coughing fit. He explains he was injured during a stampede 4 months prior and is still healing. He expresses his eternal gratitude and the full support of his house. As the Lord extends a frail hand, it trembles just before reaching Ku. Lord Maynard collapses in a violent coughing fit, causing Ku to shout in alarm. The Lord loses consciousness. Ku rushes to his side, asking if he's all right. A dark, ominous aura begins to emanate from the fallen nobleman's body. Tendrils of dark energy drift toward Kao, who watches with growing concern. An invisible barrier envelops Ku as the miasma hits, fading harmlessly. Ku realizes his skill has just countered a formidable curse. His allies rush to him, aware of the monster's curse's infectious nature. Ku cautions his friends to keep their distance, urging the unconscious lord to hang in there. He ponders the situation, searching for any useful information. His gaze sharpens as his internal system confirms the primary analysis is done. The system pinpoints the lethal curse of the Black Death, recommending the Yggdrasil branch. She realizes he might save the Lord using the sacred branch. Rary observes him, a look of dawning understanding crossing her features. Ku proclaims he witnessed this very branch in a prophetic vision. He extends the Yggdrasil branch, which starts to radiate a divine glow. The branch's shimmering energy cascades over the cursed Lord Maynard. The dark aura dissipates, and the Lord murmurs that the darkness has lifted. Riri inquires if the curse is lifted, but Ku clarifies it's only temporarily subdued. A crowd begins to form around the scene in the town square. They decide a more secluded spot is necessary. Lord Maynard lies in a cozy bed at a nearby inn, his retainer keeping watch. With the innkeeper's help, they secure a room for the ailing lord. The knight asks Ko what's going on just as he announces his secondary analysis is finished. He reveals the dreadful name of the affliction, the curse of the Black Death. The knight realizes in horror that the bustling festival triggered the curse. The curse would have claimed the Lord's life within hours, spreading like a deadly plague. Ko explains it's a unique power wielded by a creature known as an Elder Lich. The knight recalls the massive stampede that devastated the North 4 months prior. Lord Minard, a formidable mage, fought valiantly on the front lines. He faced a terrifying skeletal figure draped in black, the Elder Lich. The Lord managed to fend off the skeletal beast, but he couldn't vanquish it. As the Lich retreated, it turned to confront the Lord one last time. It pointed a bony finger, uttering a swift curse in an alien tongue. The knight laments that they should have recognized the curse's nature sooner. Rary quietly captures Ku's attention. She claims mastery over the highest tier of light magic, offering to attempt breaking the curse. Kao agrees. Rary places her hands over the Lord, readying her spell. Her eyes shine with power as she calls upon the light. She chants, commanding the holy energy to cleanse the curse before her. A massive glowing magic circle forms as she unleashes the clear light spell. Lord Maynard groans, yet the curse remains, untouched by the holy magic. Riri is aghast, unable to fathom that clear light has failed. She explains it's the most potent decursing spell known. Kuhn's system announces its analysis is complete, just as he wonders if the curse is truly unbreakable. He receives the final insight from his skill. Noticing his expression, Riri asks if he has uncovered something. Ko explains that the only way to lift the curse is to defeat the Elder Lich. Riri looks anxious, questioning where they might find such a creature. The knight confirms they haven't spotted the Lich since the stampede. Iris suggests Q utilize his auto-mapping skill to track their target. Slara agrees, noting how well the Master and Iris collaborate. Q activates the map, revealing the Elder Lich is concealed on Triss Mountain. The knight stares at the map in disbelief, exclaiming that the skeletal monster is there. Weakly, a figure stirs beneath the heavy blankets in a secluded room. Lord Maynard stirs awake, his face twisted in pain as he calls out for help. A wave of dread washes over him. He realizes that monstrous beast cursed him. Ku asserts that the only way to lift the curse is to defeat the Elder Lich. He recalls how his knightly order was obliterated 4 months ago. He worries that his demise will plunge the realm into chaos. His heir is too young. He hesitates, preparing to make what he calls an embarrassing request. Desperation fills his gaze as he begs Ku to help him subdue the Elder Lich. Please, he pleads, his voice trembling and barely audible. The knight Niels joins in, urging Ku to rescue her lord. Ku knows that if the branch's power wanes, the lethal curse will spread. Understood, he replies with a determined grin, accepting the lord's plea. Their grand carriage races through the wilds, heading for Triss Mountain. Iris calls for a halt, noting that Riri's prophetic dream is unfolding. Iris compliments Riri, who shyly expresses her gratitude. Riri humbly claims she did nothing special, her talent is what's impressive. Iris observes that Riri sounds just like Kuyu's. She elaborates that Ku's perspective has shifted recently. Ko adds that how one wields their abilities contributes to their strength. A part of me, Rudy murmurs, taking his words to heart. A gentle, assured smile appears on her face as she grasps his meaning. Exiting the carriage, they continue on foot, reaching a concealed cliff. Ku studies his map while Iris remarks on its resemblance to a past adventure. He taps the rock face, confirming this is indeed the hidden entrance. Kao strains against the heavy stone door, pushing with all his strength. With Slara's assistance, the door creaks open. Riri asks how he knew. Ku recounts a similar incident that occurred back in Okan. He notes that the unusual crest on this door is different. Riri's eyes widen in disbelief as she recognizes the foreboding symbol. The crest of the Calamity Cult, she gasps, her voice quivering. The revelation lingers, hinting at a more profound conspiracy. The slime explains that the cult thrived in ancient times, venerating calamities. Adjusting its glasses, the slime affirms its knowledge about them. It states that the ancients battled the cult, and this is one of their old hideouts. Who finds it repulsive that anyone would choose to dwell in such a place. He speculates that the Elder Lich was likely a former cult member. With Slara unlocking the path, they venture into the dim, crumbling corridor. At the cavern's end, they encounter another grand, ornate door. The slime deciphers the ancient script, identifying the third underground labyrinth. Ku inquires about the nature of this place, and the slime begins to elaborate. The cult utilized these sanctuaries for rituals to bolster their dark faith. The path ahead resembles a maze filled with traps meant to eliminate deserters. Ku ponders the twisted rituals they must have conducted as his companions grow uneasy. He mentions his auto-mapping skill, hoping it can lead them through. The map reveals a convoluted maze that will take far too long to traverse. A vision of Lord Maynard's agony reminds them that time is of the essence. Whose expression hardens. They can't afford to waste time getting lost. Iris proposes a route-finding skill, but Ku has a more straightforward plan. A spark of inspiration strikes him, a solution that completely sidesteps the issue. With a confident grin, he conjures his massive Hinogi wood mallet. He reveals it's the very first weapon he crafted in this world. "Just watch me," he declares, lifting the absurdly massive hammer. He observes that its unique ability might actually come in handy today. With a fierce grunt, he swings the mallet with astonishing power. The Wallbreaker S plus skill triggers, demolishing the stone maze wall. Amidst the debris, he stands, having carved his own way forward. Glancing at his map, he verifies that the stairs are now clear. An aerial view reveals their straight path through the labyrinth. Just like that, he grins, eager to smash through another barrier. He continues his onslaught, forging a direct path through the ancient stone. Iris notes he appears to be enjoying himself while Riri calls him off the charts. As they descend the stairs, they realize they've saved a significant amount of time. The slime explains that the next level features a room with a treacherous floor. Kuz simply drinks a potion for flight, claiming they won't touch any tiles. He carries his friends, floating safely above the lethal traps. The next room is lined with 20 deadly Auric Helcom laser turrets. Ku just smiles, wielding his impossibly sharp Hinoki wood axe. He obliterates every turret, ensuring their path remains secure. At last, they arrive in the final chamber, the air thick with an ominous presence. The slime explains that the room is cursed, but magic can temporarily halt it. Hao realizes this means one of them must stay behind to contain the curse. His companions watch with concern, grasping the dreadful decision ahead. Ku glares forward, commenting on the truly wicked nature of the trap.